So, Tanner, I take sleeping pills to sleep. I don't sleep very well.
Sleeping pills are good for that. They help you sleep.
So I take Zopiclone, is what it's called.
That sounds made up.
Yeah. And what it does is it gets you a little loopy, okay? Like, and it also has some amnesiac qualities to it. I have lately been taking this pill and then sneaking down to the kitchen and grabbing some snacks and bringing them back to bed with me.
Why are you sneaking?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I don't think my wife knows. My wife doesn't know.
Okay.
Anyway, so this happened the other day. I was took my sleeping pill, and I went downstairs and I got this bowl of Cheetos.
Ooh,
and I brought them to bed, and I rested them right here underneath my.
So you're laying on your back.
I'm laying on my back,
right on your chest.
and they're laying right above, like underneath my neck on my chest.
Yeah.
And I kept falling asleep, and so I would sleep. I'd doze off, and I'd wake up and I'd go, "Oh, Cheetos!" And then I'd eat the Cheetos, and then I'd fall asleep again. Cheetos! And so I did this 4 times until I finished the bowl of Cheetos.
Were you just using your mouth to eat them, or were you like actually grabbing with your hands?
Oh, I was using my hands.
Okay. So you're still sort of human-ish. Okay.
Would you rather have sleeping pill Cheetos or watch The Big Bang Theory?
Oh, man. I would rather eat Cheetos in my nose than watch The Big Bang Theory. I would think that one for sure.
Yeah, I know, right?
Welcome to Radical Apathy, the podcast where 2 half-wits set out to solve all the world's problems with pop culture references and a lackadaisical attitude. Why not? It's worked so far.
Welcome to the Radical Apathy Podcast. My name's Corbyn.
My name is Tanner.
How you doing, man?
I'm well, Corbyn. How are you?
You know what? I found that because we're closer than we were like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And I find that I don't want to text you. Hear me out.
Okay. Oh, can I? I also have a texting issue I wanted to talk about today, so I'm glad you brought this up. So that's how on track we are. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, I should text Tanner, but then I'm like, no, because I don't want to waste anything for the podcast. I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So any social thing I would want to send you. I'm like, no, I want to say that.
I want to send you like a meme, and I'm like, oh wait, this could be an interesting thing. I can't send it to him now because I want to bring it up as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Live reactions. I did send you that Naked Gun picture. Did I send you that?
You did. You did send me the Naked Gun picture. I don't like that you have to nowadays text people before you can call them.
I don't do that.
Right?
Yeah. I don't like that.
You have to like send the text saying, hey, can I call you, or are you available, and then call them.
You literally did that 5 minutes ago.
And I hate it.
We have people, it's even worse than just that. It's even worse. We have a mutual friend, and she is like, this guy showed up at my house unannounced. And I'm like, that's what everybody does. Like that's
what doorbells
guest.
were invented for.
Literally what people do.
Yeah.
When they show up at your house, they're unannounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of unannounced guests.
Yes.
We have a guest with us today.
Segue.
Hi, guest.
Hello.
Hi, guest. Can you introduce yourself for us?
My name's Allister.
Hi, Allister.
What up?
Allister, thank you so much for joining us. You are a musician.
Such a musician.
So, Allister, we thank you for coming on. We're going to get into your musical lifestylings and musical things and chords. Well, we're going to talk about so many chords. But first,
what?
We need to go around the room and talk about a little bit of.
What are you trying to say?
A little bit of homework.
We're doing our homework straight up, hey? All right. Well, you know what? I got some homework last week, and it was to search this ongoing war between Canada and another country.
Yes.
And so I looked into it, and it's the funniest fucking war ever.
Yeah.
And it's called the Whiskey War.
Tell us about it.
So I'm not going to remember all the details, but started in like 1873 or some shit, and it's a land dispute over an island outside of Greenland. I don't remember the name of the island, Han Island or something like that. And a land dispute. Denmark says they own it. Canada says it's theirs. And so they've kind of, for years and years and years, just kind of agreed that they both kind of own it, and they kind of split it down the middle. and they're still disputing it, and it's a very peaceful war. And what Canada started doing is putting flags on the island and leaving a bottle of Canadian whiskey there, and then Denmark would show up, and then they'd replace that flag and replace it with some of their alcoholic beverages. I believe it was a schnapps. Yeah, it was a schnapps. And so they've been going back and forth, and it's very peaceful, and it's kind of like very low priority for. It seemed like instead of a war, it's more of like a funny running joke, which I kind of dig.
Yeah,
And then recently, here's the interesting part for me. So recently in 2022, they settled the whiskey war.
They did,
and they decided to split it in half down the middle. And why is this cool? This is cool because now Canada no longer borders only one country.
Exactly.
We now border two countries, Denmark and the United States.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
Which is kind of cool.
And a silly whiskey war. It was actually, as annoyed as I was last week, it was a pretty fun thing to look up.
Yeah. It's a fun war.
I love that one. Do we border Russia too on the north? Is that a thing or no?
No, that's the
That's
States.
just an ocean there.
We border the ocean.
The ocean,
and the ocean
that goes
and
to
borders
Russia.
Russia.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, I don't know if they count that, but
They
it's a
do
great
not.
question, Alistair.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for partaking.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't partake out of the first little bit, so I'm glad you're feeling comfortable enough to jump right in, as one does. Thank you for doing the homework. Thank you for realizing that what I bring to you, Corbyn, is to enrich your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As much as that made me work.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Next we do a little thing called What Are You Playing?
What are you playing?
What are you playing? Hey, let's start with our guest. What are you playing?
Wait. What about the question? What about the question we ask every one of our guests first?
Well, when we get to the question part, it's on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right now we're doing
Okay. What are you playing?
What are you playing, guest?
Do you play?
I am.
stuff?
I do play stuff. I am probably what it would be 9-10 years behind the times. I just finished Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, Corbyn hates it so much.
Why do you hate it? Okay, hold on. Why do you hate it so much?
Because the controls are fucking terrible. It's the worst controlled game I've ever played. When you notice it, that's bad. And I noticed it right away. I'm like, man, this is janky. I really don't like the controls in this game, and I don't think I have the patience to fucking shave as a character or because there's just
immersion.
So much,
you don't like the immersion.
I don't like. I don't want tediousness in my real life. Why would I want it in my fake life?
Okay, now counter that, Alistair. Why do we like it?
Go.
Because you don't have to shave if you don't want to. You can go full beard with it, and it's fine. I don't think there's an issue with that. I really liked. You're right. The controls aren't great. I used to play a lot of Assassin's Creed, and so those controls seemed a little more intuitive. This one didn't. A lot of double buttons and stuff like that. But the story.
Oh man,
the story.
Yeah.
I am not ashamed to say it. I was almost shedding a tear.
There's a couple
on that
tear
final
moments.
ride. It hit me and hit me hard.
And what a great example of, I know exactly the scene you're talking about, of the right music at the right time.
The score was fantastic. The writing was fantastic. The whole thing, to me, actually playing through a story that felt like it mattered a little bit, felt like there was more to it than just some dude in his basement writing a script. There was actually some, we don't see that very often.
Yeah.
Probably actually was a dude in his basement writing a script, but it was phenomenal. So that's what I've been playing. Tanner,
do you guys think us in North America and Central America are more inclined to Western stories than the rest of the world, or would you say people in London are just as keen on cowboy stories as we are?
I don't think it's the Western thing. I think the story is one of morality and doing the right thing at the right time. So I think that's cross-cultural. So you're right. The Western story adds to it, but I thought it was deeper than just cowboys.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I still hate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Corbin, what are you playing?
So I've graduated from last week.
Again?
Yeah, we're not playing part 2 anymore of Black and White. We've now gone to Pokemon Heart Gold.
Oh wow!
Listen, dude.
How many Pokemons in a row has this been?
This is my third
in a row. Okay.
Well, I get to play them on my iPhone, and it's really easy to play.
I'm not judging. I just Okay. So what makes this one better or worse than Black 2?
I wasn't. Hold on. Okay. Ask that question, and then I'll finish my thing. Go ahead.
All right. Go ahead. You can ask it, Alistair.
No. What makes it better than Black 2? What's in?
Yeah. Corbin.
Yeah.
What makes Pokemon Heart
Gold
better than Pokemon Black 2?
It's the last true Pokemon game that was really that could be difficult. The other ones have gotten easier and easier and easier and easier. And this is where I felt an actual challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you keep, even though it's different games, do you keep more or less the same roster over the course of these 3 games?
So here's what's been fun for me is each game has a different roster. So like Gen 2, which is the Heart Gold, brought in some guy extra, like a whole new run guys, and then they have some old guys. And then Black and White, they had whole new rosters completely. So you get to play with new guys. What's fun about this is I'm going back just for super funsies, and I'm using the Game Genie part of the
Emulator
game.
part, yeah.
Yes, and I'm using a cheat code to play any guy I want in the game. And so I'm starting with like level 3 evolutions at level 1 and just playing the game with like super cool guys right away.
Okay.
Instead of having to
Do you always
grind.
have one specific Pokemon in your roster the whole time?
When I play when I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
and I'm playing the main series,
Yeah.
I've got a guy that I built up from like 1999 all the way until now.
Which Pokemon do you think that is, Allister, that Corbyn plays?
Oh, can you give me a type, please?
Bug Steel.
Bug Steel. Oh God, I haven't watched Pokemon in a very long time.
It is probably the famousest Bug Steel Pokemon there is.
It's not the Wasp one, is it?
No,
Not the Wasp one. It is Scyther.
Oh.
Or Sizer, sorry. Sizer. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
a Bug Steel.
Just in case you didn't see what I was doing here, this is
I saw that. I don't think our listeners saw that.
This is what a Scyther looks like.
And that hint didn't give me a thing.
So I've had the same guy built up for generations. He's now at level 100, and I just use him to come in at the end of games and sweep everybody.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I have downloaded and started Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Which
I
just
heard
came
this
out
is
this
5 hours long.
week. Yeah, maybe 6. It's
Like, how much does that cost you?
nothing. It's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What would that cost somebody who didn't have Game Pass?
$70.
Fuck off for a 5
$70.
hour game.
Yep.
That's one night.
But think about it this way. Take your family to a movie for 3 hours. What does that cost you?
But that's
Yeah. So you can pay $70 for 6 hours of content, or $120 for a 3-hour movie.
well. That's not how I'm looking at it.
Right.
I'm looking at it in this lens. I could pay $70 for 5 hours of content.
Yep.
Or I could pay $70 and buy God of War 2 for 80 hours of content.
Yes.
At the same price. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Not so much a movie.
And I'm not necessarily against the 6 hour, 7 hour game, but it better and Senua's Saga does that. It's very narrative and it's very just point story driven as it goes. So as long as gameplay is there, because gameplay is king, and that tight story, which is nice. I'm not done it yet. We're just kind of starting out, but I mean, Ninja Theory makes great games, so.
But just starting out 5 hours, like that is just starting out. Isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah.
And then they're going to grease you for DLCs and stuff to get more content.
That's why Game Pass is the best deal in gaming.
Are there side quests? Like, can you extend that 5 hours at all?
No, I'd be like, and again, I'm not done, but from what like reviews and other people have said, like a full run is about 6 hours.
Does Game Pass give you all the DLCs as well included?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a good deal.
Yep.
Well, not for that game, but for Game Pass.
Any game, yeah.
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 Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what we're playing. That was a really good time, everybody. Thanks, everyone, for telling me what you're playing. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is awesome. Let's jump into today's Corbyn's top 5.
Oh, guys, you have no idea. I'm on vacation, and my homework is going to stem off of our top 5. Okay?
Okay.
Tanner, your homework is to do at least 3 of my top 5 things while you're on vacation. 'Cause I know you're on vacation right now.
Yes.
All right. You have to do 3 of at least 5.
Okay, hold on. I got to make notes then. 3 of the things in your top 5 I have to do. Okay.
Okay, my top 5 this week is the top 5 beers. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah, I'm hearing you out.
Top 5 beers. Okay. Now, this could be very subjective.
Yeah.
Right? But I think I've come up with the definitive list. That's
Sorry, beers or beards?
beers.
Okay.
I think I've come up with a definitive list
Of the best ones.
of the best 5 beers.
Can I throw a quick little preface out there?
I know you can't drink beers.
Okay.
It's still your homework.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
All right. And I think there's a little twist to it. You're not going to see it coming.
Okay. I'm excited for twists. Is it twisted tea?
Do you like beers, Allister?
Yeah, I'll crush a few beers.
All right, well, here we go. Top 5 beers.
Here we go.
Number 5, the after mowing beer. After you're mowing your lawn, that beer. You thought I was going to go beer types, beer brands. I'm not.
Oh.
These are types of beers. And number
Situational
5,
beers.
situational beers. And number
Oh.
5 is after you mow your lawn.
Okay. Yeah.
That's beer number 5.
See that?
You're hot, you're sweaty,
Yeah.
and you just want that beer.
Shirts off,
Maybe, probably not with me.
out in the sun.
I definitely don't mow with my shirt off. Do you mow with your shirt off?
I mow almost completely naked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't, eh?
I don't.
Because then you're getting less clothes dirty.
And I've seen you in your underwear before, so you're
Yeah.
like you have boxer-ish. You're
Yeah,
more boxer.
I'm more of a boxer. Yeah, more boxer. Yeah, short kind of boxer thing. Yeah.
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 Okay.
What are you, Allister?
What do you?
As many clothes as I can. I'm the opposite.
No.
I'll
What kind of underwear do you wear?
underwear?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about how many clothes there was.
No, we moved on.
Again, it depends on the situation. Lawn mowing, I go full long johns every time.
Oh, okay.
Beer number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4. The grilling beer. This is when you're barbecuing, and you need that beer while you're tending grill. Number 4, barbecue. You're a griller, yeah? Huh?
Okay. Yes. Now I guess
Are you taking a barbecue to your new place?
I am. Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna get up there, but okay. So, question for me then,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who doesn't / can't drink beer,
Yeah.
is could you interplay any alcohol in these situations, or as beer drinkers, is this strictly a beer situation?
Honestly, this is kind of a beer thing.
Yeah. The first beer I ever enjoyed was outdoors after, I think, paintball, actually.
All right.
Before
Oh, paintball
people say it's
beer.
acquired taste, right? So that was the first one I ever did was after paintball. And I don't know if that's on your top 5. I'm sorry if there was a spoiler there.
No, there's not. Paintball beers.
No paintball beers. But that was the first beer, an ice cold Corona that I ever enjoyed. So yes, there's something about a cold beer on a hot day that is something, it's special.
Okay.
So you're
It's special.
So you're grilling beer.
Grilling
Again,
beer.
You want that beer in your hand while you're grilling, while you're tending that grill.
Okay. Yeah. It makes sense to me, right?
Huh?
You gotta click your tongs
Yeah.
and grill your beers.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Now, this one's a little more nuanced. It can go a little different ways, okay? This is your sports beer. This is where you go to a sporting event or tailgating or watching at home. It's the beer you enjoy while consuming sports or getting ready for sports.
So not just live sports; it can be in-home sports. In-home sports.
What's the difference? I don't understand. Explain your sports.
So live sports are when you're in the place where the sports are.
Yeah, but there's
And
okay.
in-home sports are when you're in your home when there's sports on.
Which is still live, technically.
Well, yeah, that's my definition.
Okay.
Yeah. So both of those count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beer,
Because not
while
everybody
sports.
has the means to go to a tailgate at an NFL game or
Right.
a ball game or whatever.
I've actually done a tailgate before.
Did you? Where
Yeah.
at?
I went to Boise, Idaho, and watched they play in the bluegrass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to there. Probably got the drunkest of my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah.
On what? Not beer.
Jello shots.
Jello shots.
There's a bar who freshly opened, and they had a tent at this football game. And I went there with one of my old bosses and a couple friends, and we found this tent. And they're like, "Oh, do you guys want hot dogs?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I love hot dogs." And so they were free hot dogs. And then this lady had a full food tray of little Jello shots. She's like, "Oh, do you want a Jello shot?" And I was like, "Oh, hi. What do these cost?" And she's like, "You can take whatever you want." I was like, "Oh, I could just have this tray?" And she said, "Sure." And that was it. That's all I remember.
How was that?
Yeah.
Did.
Down we go.
What was the sporting event? Sorry?
It is college.
College what? Football?
Yes.
Yeah.
Football.
The,
okay.
the pigskin.
The big
I know sports. Yeah. Sorry, that's my tailgating.
That's a good one.
Sports beer number 3. Number 2.
What's beer number 3? Beer number 2. Now, you're going on holidays.
Yep.
I forget. Are you going somewhere?
I'm going to Europe in a few weeks.
Okay.
But don't worry, we'll still have your fortnightly podcast coming out. I know you were all gasping in fear there.
Know.
Don't worry, we got you guys covered. We're going to definitely not pre-book anything, but we'll have it all set, ready to go. Europe is where I'm going.
Beer number 2. Airport beer before your trip.
Airport beer.
Yeah.
Oh, you like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you come and you're waiting for your flight, you get that airport beer. That just gets you... That's what gets you into your trip. It's not the packing before the trip. It's not the drive to the airport. It's the airport beer.
You're through security.
Yep. You're all the hard stuff is gone. You're just now waiting, and you get to have that airport beer, and it's glorious.
I like airports because time doesn't matter. You know, it can be 9 a.m, and you could be sitting there just crushing vodka and beer, and no one questions it.
No judging.
No judging.
You're in this airport where time doesn't exist.
And let me be very clear: airport beer after the trip did not make the top 5.
Yeah,
it's only before
different
the trip
game
that made the top 5. The number 1 beer.
Number 1.
Are you ready for this? And to me, this is the most obvious beer.
Okay, well, do you want to take a guess at it then?
No, I'm just waiting.
Paintball beer.
Anticipation.
Kokanee. No, I'm just. No, I'm kidding. No. Standard Friday beer. Whenever your weekend is done for work, that Friday or whatever that day may be for you, that's the beer.
So
It's
work
Friday
is
beer.
done.
Your work week is done.
You're
beer.
home on the Friday.
Yep. Your
Beer
work
time.
week is done. Beer.
Beer time. What out of that top 5? Would you agree with the order, or would you change it?
He was doing really well. He lost me at number 1 here. Friday beer is nice. It's good.
I'll tell you why it's number 1.
Oh, okay.
Because it happens the most.
Every Friday.
This podcast is brought to you by alcoholism. Alcoholism, your top 5 beers.
That's literally why it made number 1. I'm like, well, these other ones are great, but that one happens the most, so that's got to be number 1.
Yeah, but just because it happens the most doesn't mean it's the best. I don't know. I mean, you're right. There's
like
something
Friday
to
beer.
say about some routine in your life. I get that, but I would go like pub with friends beer before Friday. There's something about
you got to plan that. You got to.
I know, but once you're there, once you're finally there, it's a little bit like the airport beer, where there's so much planning that goes into it. You finally get there.
You might notice, Allister, that all of the top 5 did not involve other people.
Anybody else. I did notice that.
These are all by
about number
yourself.
2. I thought shower beer was going to get in there at some point. The shower beer is nice.
I've never been a big fan of the sour beer.
Yeah,
Sour beer.
I don't mind that one.
Yeah.
Especially like after a sporting event, so playing in a sporting event.
Yeah, yeah. What a Smirnoff
as a
ice
dude.
shower.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever your drink is, I think you're right. Some of these were specific to beers, but airport can be any drink. I don't think that one would be specific to beers.
Yeah.
I think I like the shower beer as well.
So shower beer would be your number 1?
Number 1. And then, no, not number 1. No, my number 1 would be when you first arrive somewhere. So the airport beer is great.
Yeah.
But when you actually arrive in a said place, and then that first beer when you get there, whatever establishment you go
vacation
to.
beer.
First vacation beer is my favorite beer.
Okay. So what are the rules here then, Corbyn, if you're going to homework me on 3 of these 5 and I can't drink beer?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
What are your rules?
beer. You can do your Smirnoffs if you want.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
I want you to just enjoy the spirit of the top 5.
Okay.
Not literal top 5.
All right. And my commitment to you.
Yeah. And this can be finished. I'm well aware this couldn't be finished in 1 week.
Right.
So I'm going to give you your leeway up to your trip.
So I will commit to 3 of them. I will send you photographic evidence of the 3.
okay.
And then you can post that if you want to our audience to show
like
that
it.
I follow
We'll do
through
it.
with the homework.
Yeah.
You know, we see this done here.
Yeah.
Take it seriously.
No messing around.
Yeah. Homework comes. You know what? You do it. Good nerds. Good thing. Okay. Thanks for top 5, Corbyn.
I really like that because you thought I was going to name brands of beer, and I did.
I did.
And I didn't, and I thought it was super.
And my
cool.
interest started failing very quickly. And I was like, oh, no. Curveball.
Curveball. We only bring the heat on this show.
That's right. the room temperature heat. We bring to everybody. Speaking of sports,
Yeah.
we haven't done one of these in a while, but with Allister here, I thought it was time for us to go back and play one of our favorite games.
Favorite games.
Called Best is bestest.
Really quickly, you're a sports fan, I hear.
I love sports. Yeah.
Okay, so what leagues are you fans of? If you say one league, then that doesn't count as a sports
No. I get it. So obviously NHL. Grew up a good Canadian boy, and my Oilers are actually finally doing something this year, so it's pretty exciting. NFL would be my close number 2. Love the NFL.
Okay.
Football.
For those who
I know.
who haven't watched much.
I'm just proud you got that.
Yeah, thank you.
After that, I don't have much. Like I'll watch anything. I'll watch soccer. I'll watch a bit of baseball or football, as they say in Europe
football.
or anywhere else in the world. I'll even dabble in golf every now and then when I want a good nap, because there's nothing better than a nap while watching golf.
Are you watching the NBA playoffs?
I'm not. No, an NBA I find completely unwatchable.
Wow, unwatchable.
Yeah.
You know what?
He just slammed dunked hold on you.
Well,
Gotcha.
I actually have been a big basketball fan for my entire life, but there was a transition at about 8, 9, 10 years ago where analytics jumped in. And analytics, first off, analytics ruins every sport. Seriously, every sport gets ruined by analytics. And what they have determined, the expected value or the EV of points to be scored. So what they say is that a long 2-pointer or a mid-range 2-point jumper in basketball has less expected value for points in the overall scheme of a game than a missed 3-point shot.
So it's always better to take the 3-point shots,
Change the game for it.
rather than to do anything else.
Yes, they want you to take layups and they want you to take 3-point shots. And the game used to have a lot more nuance and a lot more pull-up jumpers, and now it's literally just layups and 3-pointers, and it gets very, very old, very, very fast.
Interesting.
So-
That's a big one. The second one for me is it's the least team sporty of the team sports. Like if you have the best player, you're going to win.
Baseball. Huh?
Okay, baseball.
Baseball's very individualistic.
I get that, and you're not wrong, but if you have the best pitcher in the world, he still doesn't pitch 4 to 5 games.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like if you have LeBron, you're going to win. You're going to get to the finals at least, unless they have Steph Curry or something like that. If you got Jordan, you're going to win. If you have the best player, you're generally going to win the game. And I think there's a team aspect of that I can't get my head around.
Well, and I guess the counter argument is this: this year it's been a little different for sure. Here's a fun fact: of the top 10 highest paid players in the NBA, I think all of them are out of the playoffs already. And not to say that the highest paid is the best, because teams will give away bad contracts a lot. But the truly best player that's still in the playoffs is maybe the second best player in the NBA. He's doing really well. But Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, gone.
But in fairness, I think 5 of those 6 players just listed are nearing retirement. No.
Well, they're in the twilight for sure, but they're still like the names, right? But what you're seeing right now is a youth movement right now in the NBA, and it's refreshing. That's the reason why I kept up with these playoffs, because it's not the same old guys who have just been doing the same old shit for the last 30 years. So that's why I've been watching. I've got 4 new teams. So
Why in sports? I need you guys to explain this to me, the sports people. Why is baseball movies always more entertaining to watch than any other sport movie?
because baseball is a game of anticipation, where the other ones are like action all the time. You get a baseball game, it's like, okay, adjustment, okay, and then when the thing finally happens, I'd say hockey. If there was any good hockey movie, I would agree, but I don't think there is a good hockey movie.
Kurt Russell,
nor
Miracle on Ice. No,
Kurt Russell was on Miracle of Ice. Yeah, that wasn't a great movie though.
I didn't watch it.
I knew the ending. Mighty Ducks, the first one, fantastic. But you're right. There's very few good hockey movies.
Yeah, and that's just because there's not a broad American appeal, so they won't make those movies.
No.
But baseball, because it's a game of anticipation, and when that thing finally happens, it gets your blood pumping.
That, and I think you can build. It has enough space in it where you can continue the story throughout the game. So hockey is less so. There's a lot more action. You can't just go into the bench and have a little bunch of scenes of them talking on the bench.
True.
Like in every baseball movie, they huddle around the pitcher at one point because something's big about to happen. Then there's more development there. There's more development on the bench. It's just there's more space within the game for them to actually develop it.
More chance for narration.
Yeah, like Happy Gilmore. Golf would be another similar one. I think there's some good golf movie.
Tin Cup.
Tin Cup was a great movie.
Phenomenal.
True.
Kevin Costner plays in both baseball and golf movies.
Kevin Costner does.
You know what? And I think Bull Durham is the best sports movie ever.
Yeah.
Bull Durham
Again.
I would argue the top 5 sports movies are baseball movies.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's a great
So
one.
I'm going to say, Bull Durham. Hoosiers is a basketball movie, which I think is up there.
Is
Gene Hackman in that one.
I think I had to watch that in
Hoosiers.
high school. I think they made us watch that.
There's got to be a good football movie.
Well, Remember the Titans was a great movie back in the day. Old Denzel.
Well, and The Replacements is fun.
The Replacements, The Waterboy. Come on. The Waterboy was phenomenal.
You know what? Varsity Blues was a pretty good
Varsity
football
Blues
movie.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Love that one. 10.
Yeah. Major League Baseball.
That's the
Which,
thing.
all of them
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
good. Field of Dreams?
Field of Dreams was a good baseball movie.
Fantastic.
I love baseball movies.
Yeah, they're not bad. But I'm all top 5. No, I'll give you 2 of the 5, sure.
But there's not a single hockey movie in that top 5.
No,
for
there's
sure.
not.
And anyone who says Slapshot is wrong. That's a terrible movie.
Wasn't great. Young Guns. Young Guns.
Isn't that a Western?
Or was that a Western? What was the one with
Young Guns. It is a Western.
what's his name from The Office? Rob Lowe.
I never heard of this one.
There was a hockey movie with Rob Lowe in it. I don't know if we can pull it up quickly.
I think we've learned
It's not great.
much. Yeah, I think Rob Lowe just probably. Yeah. Okay, what's this game?
So let's go back. Get
It's
back
all.
to the
It's just yeah. It's all.
I can always
it's
talk
all
sports.
baseball movies.
Yeah.
Like all of it.
You're looking at a list right now, I presume.
Wait. Oh, I'm just. Yeah. I'm
The Sandlot?
because I don't know enough
Sandlot
about.
was
Sandlot's
great.
a top 5
Yeah,
sports
absolutely.
movie.
I'll give you that one.
Moneyball was recently. It's great.
Moneyball was
Field
the
of
top
Dreams
5
was
sports movie.
great. 8 Men Out was a great movie.
never saw
The Rookie was a great movie.
The Rookie.
The Natural
Yeah,
was a great movie.
Natural.
Robert Redford.
Yeah,
Major
yeah.
League 42 for Jackie Robinson. A League of Their Own. The Phenom. This one's supposed to be really good, actually. The Battered Bastards of Baseball. It came out in 2014. It's about the 1973 movie with Kurt Russell and Todd Field. Apparently, it's a really good. I haven't seen it though.
Oh, I've never actually heard of that one.
Yeah, The Battered Bastards of Baseball.
Baseball.
Came out in 2014. Check it out.
All right. Give us this game. I'm excited we got sports content for once.
Hey, well, yeah, I don't want to step on your guys' sports hobbies.
You know
want
what?
to keep talking
Hey,
about
Allister,
sports?
while we're doing this game, we are allowed to, because I had to do an episode. And it was a 2.5 hour episode about D&D.
On Dungeons and Dragons.
So I need to talk some sports to decompress a little bit.
Let's do it.
So let's veer off the beaten path as much as we need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feel free.
Let's do it. Bring it on.
What kind of sport would? What's your guys' name we made?
Praxis.
What kind of sport would Practice watch?
All of them, because he's like me.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, look at that.
See, so
Brought the world
Praxis
together.
seemed like a World Series of Poker kind of guy to me. He'd watch World Series of Poker all the time.
the real life Praxis has played in and cashed in a World Series of Poker tournament.
That's impressive.
True story about myself.
Yeah. Now in Star Wars, it's called Sabacc. Or Pazak if you're going to like an older version, but Sabacc is kind of the Texas Hold'em takeover of the galactic world.
Yeah.
Best is bestest.
Best is
Back
bestest.
to this next game, so let's find out.
Yeah.
Allister,
Yes.
you're a man of many talents. You're a musician. You are a sports person, and I would say you are fairly well versed in pop culture.
Okay.
All right.
Who's your favorite actor?
Oh, my favorite actor, Mel Gibson. It's not even close.
I was watching a Mel Gibson movie last night.
Which one?
Well, I went to Furiosa last night.
Okay.
So I went to watch Mad Max after
The original.
The original.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Is it?
Fantastic. I haven't watched that one in years, so I don't think I'd be able to chat too much about it, but I
Yeah.
do remember it being good. And let's be honest, young Mel Gibson was probably the best Mel Gibson. But
I'm struggling to get through this one.
Yeah.
I had to stop it halfway through.
Is it still the American version where in the original Mad Max they didn't use his voice in America because he had too much of an Australian accent? So they
No, this is the original.
dubbed it?
This is the original.
For today, for our best is best, we are doing a tournament-style hack down of Mel Gibson's top 12 movies to break it down to finally see which movie is number one overall.
I can already tell you what it is, but I'll hold on to it.
Well, this is going to be natural. You guys are deciding.
Yeah,
this isn't a list.
I already know what it is.
You already know what it is?
I already know
This
what it
is you guys deciding
I'm
what
going to
it's
go
going
off
to
the board
be.
with it, actually.
Okay. These are all movies he has had to be in or star in.
And we're not talking director.
Not
or-
just he
okay.
did direct one or two of these, but he's been in all of these.
Okay.
Going forward. So you are a big Mel Gibson fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does the game work?
I'll get there.
Okay.
So Mel Gibson, for those of you who don't know, is a American-born actor.
Australian.
He's American-born, but when he was 12, he moved to Australia with his parents.
Gotcha.
And he went to university school there and got his acting degree.
University school?
Yeah, compared to regular. I'm sure he went to regular school there too.
went to
It was all upside down though, unfortunately, because he was in Australia, which is probably why he only has a Metascore of 54 as an actor. His highest Metascoring movie
Braveheart?
Braveheart.
is exactly correct. Chicken Run. That's right.
Really?
Where he voiced actors Rocky, which got him a nomination for a Kids' Choice Award.
Chicken Run.
The highest Metascore movie that he's ever been a part of, Chicken Run.
The guy's talent is just unmatched.
Where he physically stars in a movie, his highest one was The Road Warrior, the original Mad Max.
That's
Yeah.
the second Mad Max.
Yes. His lowest Metascore movie?
Let me guess. Tango and Cash.
Okay.
What women want.
Wait, he's not in Tango and Cash.
Yeah, I was going to say, not him.
Hold on. What would want? I actually like that one.
It's a good movie.
It's going to be. Oh no. Get Carter.
Daddy's Home 2. You're right.
Daddy's Home too.
Oh,
There are B movies that are lower than that, but I'm thinking of theatrical releases
Gotcha.
at the very least.
Gotcha.
I think Mel Gibson's good. I don't think he's as great as Allister does, but let's get into it and find out. Give you guys a chance to really get
really
this out in the
excited.
open.
Yeah, I
So-
like Mel Gibson movies.
What we're going to do is I have 12 movies
Yeah.
of Mel Gibson's. I have selected these movies. I have tried to make them his most, I would say, subjectively best movies there are to put him in here. If I'm missing one that you secretly you're like, well, tough. We're not doing it. So I've pre-set these up in my tournament bracket, as you guys can see here.
Oh, that's nice.
okay,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
I don't
very
mind
nice.
that.
Because sports, right? So we're going to pre-tournament bracket these up. You guys are going to discuss which one. You're going to tell me which one you want to win that bracket, and they will move on, and we will decide who is the champion Mel Gibson movie.
Do we each get one vote? And are you the tiebreaker? How does that?
If it's a tie,
Okay.
or if it's
All right.
if it's against each other, I'll break the tie. But
I like this.
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm fairly confident we've seen every one of these movies.
Okay.
Going forward. All right.
Okay.
In the first bracket, we have 2000's What Women Want, directed by Nancy Meyers,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
for which he won a Golden Globe, versus 1994's Maverick, directed by Richard Donner.
I gotta go Maverick.
I'm going to go What Women Want.
Oh,
Maverick is okay. Maverick's just okay to me. You like Maverick?
I like Maverick.
Tell me why.
Because I think his supporting cast was stronger in Maverick, and I think the story was a bit better. I mean, I get the whole like listening to what women want, but it was a bit too. He's not great at the. I'm trying to do comedies. I think he's better at the offhanded comedies, and I think Maverick. I laughed harder in Maverick than I did ever in What Women Want.
Really?
Yeah.
Make no mistake. This is not like clear cut for me.
I thought you would love him. I got poker. You got gambling.
I love
everything.
Listen, I love all of those things. I love all of those things. Make no mistake.
Jodie Foster,
Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Who's the? It was Helen Hunt, right? In the other movie.
Twister.
In What Women Want.
In What
is
Women
Helen
Oh,
Hunt.
yes, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me think about this. Yeah, you know what? I like What Women Want. It was just at the time, it was a great date movie to take girls to,
Yeah.
and that's what I remember about it.
He's old enough to date in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, team.
It was okay. I don't know. I thought Maverick. I will go back and watch Maverick. I've never gone back and watched What Women Want.
Okay. You know what? That's fair.
That's
And
a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have.
And I just forgot Maverick existed. So maybe.
What a great movie! I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
a
You know
lot,
what? Okay, I'll
actually.
go with Maverick too. I'll go,
okay.
We're going to bump
Hey,
you.
Wow,
First
that is a big one.
turnouts.
What switched your mind on that one?
Well, what am basically that? What am I going to go back to first? And it's probably Maverick. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Go
Okay,
ahead. Yeah.
Maverick.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it. You guys did really well. Proud of you. Maverick is going to win this one, and I'm going to type Maverick. Okay, number 2? Round 2?
Round 2.
Round 2. 2002's Signs from M. Night Shyamalan
yeah.
versus the Lethal Weapon series.
The
whole series?
Hold on,
Series,
dude.
dude.
Hold
Yeah.
on. What are you talking about?
This is you're taking it as a whole.
No, I can't do that. That's not fair.
Okay, then I will say Lethal
Weapon.
Weapon.
Or the original Lethal Weapon.
I'm going to dump all the sequels then, and we're just saying 1987's Lethal Weapon.
2 is all right.
2 is good. That was
Diplomatic
Diplomatic.
community. Yeah, all right. So then I'm jumping down to
First
one.
Lethal
87's Lethal Weapon. Richard
It's got to be Lethal Weapon. I know you're a big horror fan though, so that's going to be a bit of a different animal
Signs
for
was
me.
so good.
It wasn't bad.
But I'd also take Lethal Weapon.
I gotta go Lethal Weapon again. What am I going to go back to?
Yeah, I love Signs though. Like this is not slighting Signs. Lethal Weapon, the first one, is the shit.
It was fantastic. It's
a great movie.
And yeah, number 2 was great too.
Those are 80s movies where there's like real substance to the character, to the main character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Mel Gibson had substance.
Actually, Crazy Briggs going up there and getting that guy off the ledge.
Yeah.
They handcuffs him together.
And then that initial scene where they're right after that, where he's got the revolver and he's pulling the hammer back, like
Yeah.
that was outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie. See, here's the problem. Like we talked about this last week with First Porn.
Yep.
That like every 80s action movie has like lots of nudity in it, but I'd like my son to see this movie. So this might be a First Porn.
There's
for him.
flashes of nudity in
I'm sure.
in
I
Lethal
think they
Weapon.
went
In
to
Lethal Weapon?
They went to a strip joint. That one,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah, I think
I don't remember
there's a
that.
couple quick top flashes.
Okay.
We'll check it out. I'll check it out after. I'll look on my info webs here.
Yeah, the webs.
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Lethal Weapon as
Lethal
well.
Weapon's on there.
I like it.
Okay.
Wow, we're agreeing.
You guys, this is really, really good and easy.
Doesn't matter. The winner's already determined.
Well, we'll find out. Next round, next tournament round.
Yeah.
2000's The Patriot.
Oh, I like
by
that one.
Roland
God,
Emmerich
I like that one.
Heath Ledger.
versus
Yeah.
1996's Ransom, directed by Ron Howard.
It's not even close.
Oh, Ransom was a good movie. I
Ransom's a
forgot
good
about
movie.
that movie.
Forget
That's a
about
good
it.
movie.
Ransom's a
I haven't watched that one in
Give me
years.
back
I
my
don't,
son.
I don't feel like I
Freaking out on the TV screen, yeah.
Give me back my son.
I feel like I know Ransom well enough, but
He takes the money that he was going to pay the ransom and ends up using it to pay like mercenaries to
Yeah.
go get it. Yeah.
it's just been far too long.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't watched that movie.
I haven't watched Ransom forever, but again, what are you going to go back to? You've watched The Patriot numerous times
Yeah.
probably since then.
I know, The Patriot.
It was a great movie. Great supporting cast as well. Great villain.
Who was the female lead in the Ransom? Who was his
good
wife in that
question.
one?
Oh, I have to look it up again.
You
I don't
remember?
I don't remember that one at all.
Who was in that movie with him?
No. I don't even remember the villain in The Ransom at this point, actually.
Gary Sinise,
Was it?
wasn't it?
Gary Sinise is the bad guy. And, it was Rene Russo
Rene Russo.
Rene.
in Ransom. Also, Rene Russo from
Lethal Weapon 3?
Lethal Weapons 2, 3, and 4.
3, 4.
2.
3.
She came in 2.
4. 3, 4. Well, I agree with you, but we'd both be wrong.
Oh, he just turned my thing around on me.
He did. I got to go Patriot.
The
God, you are right, aren't you?
The female
It
lead.
is. She did come in 3.
She was a French South African girl, and then she died and she drowned.
Oh,
in
Leif
part two.
Schreiber's in Ransom 2. He's one of the bad guys.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that Ransom was an adaptation of a 1956 movie.
I'm going to have to go back and watch Ransom. again.
I'm
I
going
think I'm
to
gonna
watch
have to.
that and Maverick
Yeah.
Yeah.
and fucking Lethal Weapon.
You're going to watch Maverick and you're going to immediately remember that it wasn't as bad as you think it
Mel
was.
Gibson's whoever agent is going to be sitting on their computer and seeing this sudden spike in Mel Gibson movies.
Yeah, totally.
Like, what the fuck is this? So
I got to go to The Patriot.
Yeah, it's The Patriot.
It is The Patriot on that one.
Yeah, Jason Isaacs is so good in that, and so is Mel. He's just
That was great. Heath was good.
Yeah.
and the Patriot. Roland Emmerich's Patriot takes that one. Our last first round goes through 1995's Braveheart, directed by Mel Gibson,
Braveheart.
and 1997's Conspiracy Theory.
Braveheart.
See, I got to give it to Braveheart, but Conspiracy Theory is one of the most underrated Mel Gibson movies there is.
Conspiracy Theory.
I
you ever
literally,
watch
I
Julia
literally put
Roberts?
these two together because I know you're like Conspiracy
I
Theory.
love Conspiracy
Can
Theory.
I tell you? I don't even remember that movie.
Julia Roberts, Mel Gibson.
Okay.
He plays someone with what I'll call I don't know, mental health issues
yeah.
at some point.
Sounds like our guys already. Hey? Sounds like one of us.
One of us. One of us.
Yeah, but Conspiracy Theory was a phenomenal movie, and I hate the fact that you put those two together because I would argue hard for Conspiracy Theory, but I can't because Braveheart is his
I
best
did that
movie.
intentionally. Because I was hoping you would go a little bit harder Conspiracy
I can't because it's against Braveheart. I would have went like you would have put Conspiracy Theory against Patriot. I would have fought for it. I can't
Really?
fight for it right now because Braveheart's his best.
Side note, I had a great thought after that one of us chant. I'm like, instead of like what movie you're watching on our mental health section, we're like, okay, what prescription prescription you got this week? Like, what's your
throw 'em all on a
prescription? And then we all compare our prescriptions.
What pills do you take? Let's do a prescription check off. Here
Prescription check. Here we go.
Zofran?
I was watching the Oilers game 2 nights ago, and I was with 2 buddies. And through natural conversation, we found out we were all on the same medication.
Oh.
The exact same one.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Does it cover erectile dysfunction?
Oh, they're high-fiving in the background, guys.
Got him. Got him. PP jokes. Oh, man. Got him. All right.
Shut up, man.
Taking us into our not round. What would be the second section of a bracket called in sports?
Quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals.
Is it quarterfinals?
Yeah, there's the
Yeah,
next
it would
one.
be-
And then
Semifinals.
Yeah.
And then the finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals.
Yeah.
First round.
Go.
Quarterfinals. We have Maverick
Yeah.
versus Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon, yeah.
Okay. This was so easy, you guys. I got to put the run button. There we go. All right. Click.
Braveheart versus the Patriot.
And okay, well,
Yeah, Braveheart
easy.
versus Patriot.
Easy.
Okay, sorry.
And now in the semifinals, round 2, we have the Patriots
Yeah.
versus Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Yeah, it's Braveheart.
It's not even close.
I actually showed my son Braveheart the other night, and but he had to close his eyes during the breasticles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we watched it, and
What a movie.
It was one of his. It was between that and the 2 Dune movies. This was him going, okay, that's a movie. Like, fuck yeah,
Yeah, cinema.
Historically completely inaccurate.
fair.
Yeah.
But what a movie.
What a movie.
What a movie.
What's the one scene when you two think about Braveheart in your head? What's the one scene that is the first to pop in your mind?
I'm interested to hear. I have mine.
Go ahead. I'm going to think about it.
I think the scene that encapsulates
Yeah,
that was
that's
tougher for me to say than it should be, was when, spoiler alert, when he takes the helmet off Robert the Bruce after the battle there, and finds out that he's in fact stabbed him in the back. His face, the acting, the music, the point of that whole, to me, that was that movie. It was fantastic and unbelievably done. And he kind of knows at that moment it's done. It's over.
That's a good one. For me, it's when he's riding the horseback into the village at the beginning of the movie, and he's got his hands up, and then he's got his face just straight, and then once you could see his face just go like that when he whips that Morning Star, or
When he
whatever the hell
goes
he's
full
got.
Mel Gibson.
And then you're like, oh, he's starting some shit. Like that's the moment. It's
Okay.
like, okay, now the movie begins. Boom.
Okay.
You're right. The movie does begin at that point.
Yeah.
that is the starting point. Before that, it's pretty.
Can we just side note, guys, and pardon to our you're married?
Yeah.
Pardon to our wives for a moment. Okay. Never seen her again in a movie. How unbelievably hot was that Marin in that
Marin?
Marin.
Name
in
aside.
Braveheart.
Name
Holy
aside.
Shit, she was good.
Yeah,
looking.
she's very attractive. And
I couldn't help saying, I'm like,
and
damn.
No,
I don't know the name. I
no
can look it up.
makeup. No, like it wasn't. They didn't.
No makeup, no nothing.
she wasn't a princess.
She had cankles.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
when they start drinking her away, she had cankles. But
Okay. Yeah.
Are you talking about Sophia Marceau?
no. His
not
wife
Sophia,
that got died.
no.
Yeah. Oh,
that got
okay, hold
died.
on. I got
Spoiler alert.
That got done. Hold on. There's young Marone.
Marin.
For regular Marone.
Just regular adult Marin.
Marin.
I can't think of where I've seen, but I have seen her before. But it's nothing major. I don't
I
think.
can't think of anything that she was in.
Is it Mariah Calvi?
No.
Calvi?
No, that's not her. It's McCormick. Something McCormick.
no, that's her.
No, it's something McCormick. That's not her.
That's not her.
Something McCormick is her last name.
Something McCormick. Oh, no, she was 5 in this movie, so...
Nope.
Nope, that's not her.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. I remember it ends with McCormick, I think.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Just don't see anyone else. Okay, well, she didn't... I don't see her on IMDb, so...
That movie had everything to me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. You know what? And so how old are you, sir?
I am 37.
Okay, so you would have been
A young man.
2 in 1995?
No,
math
not so
is
much.
bad.
Not so
How
much.
old were you in 1995?
I would have been 9.
Okay, so you didn't see Braveheart when you were 9.
I would have seen it shortly thereafter because it came out on the VHS. It was double VHS, right?
So here's what I did. So this is how old I am. To find out what was playing in theaters, you had to go to the newspaper.
Yeah.
And they had the entertainment newspaper, and they had like different things and pictures, and you decided based on what the pictures in the newspaper was, because sometimes you didn't see the trailer because movie trailers were around, but they weren't. They didn't flood the televisions back then.
No, not at all. And it was especially with like 3 channels.
And I never saw a single Braveheart trailer, and all the newspaper gave them was a single small square or rectangle picture that just said Braveheart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess I'll go to this Braveheart thing.
No expectations.
No expectations, no nothing. And I came out of that movie blown away.
Totally.
Just blown away.
And again, I was fairly young. I remember watching it, but even as a young man, you're just like, this was a phenomenal movie. And if you're not, I don't think you need to be overtly emotional, but at that end there, just the whole thing, he finishes well. I mean, a good death, and it's good stuff.
Just really quickly, we've already decided Braveheart's the winner.
Yeah,
and
I've already put it on. I've already put it on here. I've already clicked it.
But how about the choreography in these fight scenes? And the only CGI that I know of was the horse stuff, like the horse jumping out of the barn, some of the horses running into the spikes.
Yeah.
But that's all the CGI that's in this movie.
It's true. You can tell. So if you just watched it again, if you were to watch it again, if you look at the background of some of those battle scenes, there's some guys messing around in the background that are just, they didn't do a great job of that.
But still practical.
Still practical effects. I mean, they shot arrows out of cannons, like just bundles of them, if you watch some of the behind the scenes. The other part you can totally tell is when they're that horse charge on that initial battle.
Yeah,
you can tell that their ranks are, and like they only had like 15 guys.
Yeah,
because there's space on the other side. So some of the shooting, some of the editing, and some of that wasn't phenomenal at that point. But you're right, practical effects, and I could be wrong on this, but I can't think of another movie at that time that would have been as large scale with some of the battle scenes as Braveheart would have been at that point.
Yeah, you're right. It did. It set the tone for a bunch of those movies that came out after the fact. How good was Brendan Gleeson in Braveheart? By the way, I love that guy because that movie to this day, he was so good in that movie. Am I help Bueller? Is this on? Oh,
Catherine McCormick.
Catherine McCormick. That's what her name is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Has she been in anything since then?
She's known for Braveheart, Spy Game, A Sound of Thunder, and 28 Weeks Later. She's been in like television stuff since then.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Fantastic. Braveheart.
Braveheart is by decision the number 1 movie.
Did I ever tell you about my movie Final Four on this podcast?
I mean, I think we've done it.
Okay, if I haven't, I'll just quickly recap.
Recap for Allister.
I had a job once, and there was 4 guys on the committee, and we each tasked each other. It was March Madness for basketball, it just started, and so we each tasked each other to come up with our 16 favorite movies, or 16 best movies. Maybe not your favorite, but 16 best movies.
Yep.
And whoever had seniority, if there was a tie, got to keep that movie, and the other person had to replace theirs.
Okay.
And we did a bracket, a 64 bracket.
Okay.
And we all voted and argued, and this took 12 hours of our time.
I love that.
Okay. And finally, at the end of the bracket, it came down to Hot Fuzz and Braveheart won.
Hot Fuzz made it that far. I love that movie. Don't get me wrong. But it made that far.
I think it's the best comedy, in my opinion, ever made. I think it's just got so many levels to it.
It's a great movie.
But again, the thing with comedy, it's subjective. What I find funny, you may not find funny. That's why they call it a sense of humor. A sense of what I find funny. If you will.
Well, I'm glad Braveheart won. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too.
Now, has there been any movie that has come out since your Final Four? Dune? That would you would put up there?
Big Dune fans.
Dune 1 and 2 is one big.
As I'm sure you know, being an avid,
I have heard, and I saw it the other day as I was scrolling through one of my many online movie, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I went, I should watch that because I feel like those 2 guys really like it. I probably will like it, and I didn't.
You did not like Dune?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it.
Oh, you did watch it.
So I will watch it.
Well, other than the Oilers game tonight, you should watch just 2 Dune movies in a row. And just
I won't be up all night.
Take
They're
7
not
hours.
fairly long. Yeah, they're long.
What do you mean up all night? You're like 15 years younger than me. Stay up all night and watch them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing tomorrow.
Tomorrow the kids can sleep in.
I'll tell you what. You can sleep in.
Okay.
If you can tell me the last name of Mad Max's character.
Not a clue.
I can tell you that.
Can you?
Rockatansky or something.
It
like
is
that.
Max Rockatansky.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say Mad Max, the first one, is not very good. It's on a very shoestring budget.
It's
They
his
don't-
it's
they
his
don't-
highest Metacritic film
is
that he's in.
the original Mad Max.
The Road Warrior.
Road Warrior is number 2.
That one.
Okay, so Mad Max is number 1. Mad Max 2 is called The Road Warrior.
I thought number 2 is Thunderdome.
That's Mad Max 3. Beyond
Oh
Thunderdome.
God, I missed a whole movie in there.
So the first Mad Max, they didn't so far. I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I haven't watched it in forever, but it's very low budget. They don't have the time or the money to explain this world. They've got this police force called the MPF. And Max is a part of the MPF, but they don't explain. There's no exposition to
Right.
explain that the world's falling apart and that this is the most poorly funded police force on the planet. They don't explain that. They just kind of say, "Here it is," and it doesn't make. And then there's this scene where they arrest this guy for he's a part of a biker gang,
Yeah.
and they arrest him and. They literally. This is how it goes. They're standing up and they got the prisoner, and the guy goes, "Nobody showed," and they're like, "Nobody showed, nobody showed," and they go back and forth saying nobody showed for like 3 minutes, and they don't explain to you at all. Like, 'cause I was confused as fuck, so I had to go on Wikipedia and go, "What the fuck just happened?" And they didn't explain to you that this was going to be his court appearance, and no witnesses showed up.
Oh.
And so they let him go, but they don't explain. It was just a very poorly. The narrative was very poor in this movie so far.
Okay.
So what
What was fun though is the guy who plays Toe Cutter in Mad Max
Yeah.
plays Immortan Joe in Fury Road, and unfortunately in Furiosa, the real Immortan Joe passed away, so they had to recast Immortan Joe.
Yeah.
For this movie
As the Thunder guy, right?
as the what?
The Thunder guy?
Do you know who Immortan Joe is?
Yeah. In Fury Road?
Yeah.
But the actor who's playing him is the Thunder guy, isn't it?
No, the guy who played him in Fury Road is Toe Cutter from Mad Max. He passed away.
Yeah.
They had to recast him for the Furiosa prequel with someone else.
Right.
Right.
Who is not the Thunder God actor.
Thunder God actor.
Yeah, from the Marvel Thunder Gods.
No. Immortan, no. That's a completely new character.
Oh, I thought it was the same character.
No, Immortan
Oh.
Joe's in Fury Road and in the prequel.
Yeah.
And so no. And I got to tell you guys, after watching Furiosa, like Chris Hemsworth, Dr. Dementis
Yeah.
in this movie, he might be one of my top 5 villains I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah,
That surprises me.
He was
That is
excellent.
interesting.
He was excellent in this movie.
Wow. I like when those really actors who play constantly good people play a villain and just crush it.
It was
It's always fun to see that.
So, like Heath Ledger would be the obvious example. What would be another? Now Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth. What would be another example? of that?
Chris Evans in the Knives Out
The Knives Out. Yeah,
just
okay.
plays a fucking asshole villain. It's just really
Like-
fun. And he was also the bad guy in The Gray Man
Yeah, he was good in
on
Gray
Netflix movie. He was the bad guy in that too.
Yeah, so good guys into bad guys. I'd say Tom Cruise in Collateral.
That's really
Yeah, I'll
really
give
good
that one. Okay,
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good bad guy. But this is a bad guy who's so charismatic. He steals every
I like
scene
that.
he's in, and the epic is literally built around his character. That's how good it is. It, like he cracks the top 5. Like he's up there with Rickman from Prince of Thieves and
wow.
Die Hard.
Do is Toe Cutter
Toe
from the
Toe
original
Cutter.
Mad Max
Yeah.
canonically that villain in Fury Road, or
No,
just the
I
same
think
actor playing two different characters?
Same actor playing 2 different
Oh, okay.
characters. I haven't finished this movie, but I'm 99% sure Toe Cutter's dead after this.
Fair enough. Another little fun Mel Gibson fact. Did you guys know that he was the first People's Magazine Sexiest Man Alive?
I didn't.
Was Mel Gibson?
Why is he your favorite actor? Out of curiosity. Just,
I'm gonna blame it on sentimentalism because I was so young. I remember Braveheart being like the first movie I watched, right? Like the one that I was like, oh my god, the one that actually affected me. And ever since then, like he came out with a few bangers pretty shortly thereafter, right?
Yeah, the mid to late 90s were
was
really
good.
for Mel
So it was
Gibson.
Braveheart, and then I remember Conspiracy Theory, and it was a fantastic.
and he
movie.
was still
Then
pumping on
Ramsey
Lethal Weapons at that
Lethal
point.
and Lethal Weapons, Lethal Weapon 5 or 4, and all those different ones back then. Then 5 came out with Jet Li, and like all of those ones, I was just like, man, Mel Gibson's awesome. So that was just as I grew up, he was the guy.
Yeah.
Back then,
Martin Riggs.
Martin Riggs, great character.
Yeah.
The reason I said that is 'cause you said Briggs earlier, and I was like, I had to correct him.
Did I say
Riggs.
Briggs?
You said Briggs.
Oh, Riggs.
Yeah, Riggs.
Obviously.
Riggs. Martin Riggs.
Martin Smigs.
Riggs and Murtaugh.
Yeah.
Smigs and Marga.
So that's why. That's why Meg goes.
That's an action series. I wish they would have made a fifth one. Like that's I love.
I thought
that
they
one.
were. Hold on, I'll
Lethal
double
Weapon.
check. Yeah, I thought they
Jet
were
Li was
doing
number 4.
Number 4.
That was 4.
I thought they were doing
Five.
anyone.
I thought there was 5.
4 was good
'Cause the TV show
4 was
crashed.
really good.
Actually, now that I think about it, all of them were
All
good.
of them were really good.
Mel Gibson to direct Lethal Weapon 5.
Is there?
Yeah.
That worries me a tad. I
Mel's
like.
directing it.
Yeah, look how old he is.
He is old.
He's
He is,
too-
and he looks more villainous now than he
Yes.
ever did.
What's worse, Mel Gibson directed Lethal Weapon 5 or Axel Foley Part 4?
Oh yeah.
I'm just wondering because here's the difference between those two franchises
Yeah.
is that again Lethal Weapon each one was a banger, whereas like Lethal or Beverly Hills Cop 2 was really bad, or 3 was really bad.
3 was bad.
Yeah, 3 was terrible.
They just need to
How much
stop
to
doing
get? He
remakes.
tried to buy the Disney ticket, and he's like, "I want to get in." She's like, "It's $36." He's like, $36. That was expensive for a Disney ticket
stop
back
with the
then.
remakes.
I know reboots, remakes.
Like
Just stop it.
All of them.
I need
Like Rocky 5 should have never happened.
This actually brought me into one of the topics I wanted to talk about today, Tanner, is our local theater.
Yes.
And the impacts of COVID on
Yeah.
our local theater and theaters nationwide. So, 2 implications. One, once COVID happened, they started this home release of movies where it gets released in theaters and literally 3 weeks later, it's available
Streaming.
video on demand.
Boom.
Yeah.
And you can buy it for $30.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, arguably, you go to the theater for 2 people, it's going to cost you more than $30. So a lot of people just wait 3 weeks and watch these movies at home. So they're still making money, but they're not making theater money.
No, the theaters aren't making money.
Yeah, the theaters aren't making money. So, 2, tell me, like, let's look at the original slate of movies that have come out this year. It's not very long. The last 10 years.
They're awful.
It's just, they're not making original movies anymore.
Correct.
I would argue the horror genre makes original movies. A lot of original movies.
Specific directors in the horror genre makes individual movies because a lot of them are just rebrands and remakes of old movies.
Some are reboots, but I'm saying more original ideas come from the horror genre than any other genre right now.
I'll give you that.
They don't make comedies anymore. Like,
Yeah.
maybe
ones.
get one comedy a year. Like last year, there was one that I
I was going to say,
liked.
what's the most recent big comedy?
So there's one that was bit last year, the Jennifer Lawrence No Hard Feelings, which I thought was actually funny, and they made it like a 90s raunch comedy, which was like, that's what you had to do,
Yeah.
and it was good. And if you haven't seen it, I actually highly recommend it because it's really funny.
Okay.
Take a look at that one.
It's fun.
What's it called again? Jennifer?
No Hard Feelings.
No Hard Feelings. Okay.
Is that when she gets hired to be there?
To date an 18-year-old boy.
So it's failure to
And
launch.
fuck him.
Just he's 18.
I don't know. Remember failure to launch?
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, jeez.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh no! Oh no! No, but
Look at the egg on your face.
Jennifer Lawrence is so funny in this movie. She's awesome.
I don't understand her as an actor because some movies it's really believable and entertaining, but other ones it's like you are putting no fucking effort into this, and it is
Give me an example.
you're really bad.
I love her in everything.
What was the one? Well, I mean, I was not a big fan of the Katniss movies.
Hunger
I don't
Games.
think she.
That was early in her career.
I don't
though.
think she was acting very well. So, yeah, right. So I'll give her that. But what was the one she did on the space station with
I like
Guardians
that
of the
one.
Galaxy?
I enjoyed that one.
Did not like
With
that
Chris
one.
Pratt.
Passengers.
That was painful to watch.
No. She did a good job. No, he opened her up.
She slept in that capsule like an absolute boss.
He opened her up, and when she found out, he opened her capsule, and when she found out he did it on purpose,
Yeah.
it was like that was a good job.
You have opened my capsule.
You opened my capsule.
without my permission.
Okay, back to the theaters.
Okay.
Back to the theaters. So our local theater is so not busy. I was there last night on a Friday with a big blockbuster opening in Furiosa.
Yeah.
Basically no lines. Theater half empty. If you look online, they've cut out late shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. There's no late shows available.
Really?
Yeah. How it's going to close down.
It is going to close down. Yeah.
It will.
And that's going to devastate me.
But like what we talked about before, they need to do something else as a theater rather than just hoping movies are going to bring people in. That's why there's all these VIP theaters now and all these extra options of service rather than the movie rely on the show. Because, I mean, I worked at a movie theater when I was 15 years old.
I'm jealous of you.
And it has not changed
It hasn't.
since then. Like the
got
actual,
more expensive.
the one to except being more expensive. So until they're willing to change what a theater does in its service delivery, nothing's going to happen.
The other problem you're finding is most of these studios are now just releasing, like Netflix and Amazon are becoming.
Well, Netflix has their own theaters too.
But they have their own theaters now.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But that's not, like everything's just going to Netflix and Amazon. So some.
Well, that's the other thing. In the pandemic, everyone bought more and more subscription services, and they tend to keep them instead of get rid of them.
Yep.
And they just wait for their movies to come to those subscription services, and they don't go to the theaters anymore.
And they bought good, like, in-home TV systems. So, like,
well, look behind me.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I am so jealous of your
I did
little
this during
setup here.
COVID. I had the boys over and I did a sound test the other day. I did a sound test for you.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I did the wrong movie for you. I think I did Rise of Skywalker for you. And
You did, yeah,
What
it
I
was the opening,
should
yeah.
have done was the opening race in Ready Player One.
Oh, okay.
To me, that's the litmus test right now of how well your sound system sounds.
Okay.
Ready Player
Interesting.
One. Yeah. So do that if you haven't.
Well, here's a question. Other than Dune, what's the last good movie you guys have seen in theater?
Like really good theater in the theater.
Like that you went and actually said, this was old school theater.
Old school or still
No.
good?
Like when you went back and you had the same feeling that you had pre-COVID when you went to the theaters and there was excitement and the movie was awesome and it was just good.
Endgame.
I would say probably the
Endgame's a good one. That's
the
a really
last,
good one.
the
Endgame
last,
pulled all the
good one.
feelings out of
Yeah.
everybody during that
Yeah, I'll give you that
3-hour
one, yep.
journey.
I'd say the last James Bond movie.
Okay.
Daniel Craig's last one.
Yeah. Also a good one. Okay, those are good examples. Mine was The Gentleman with old Matthew McConaughey.
But see, I thought it wasn't a Netflix movie.
Was it a Netflix movie?
Yeah, I think that's a Netflix.
Oh, no, you know what I
want?
want to think of? Oh, my God, it was a Netflix movie. And a series, which is phenomenal, by the way. What's the one with Samuel L. Jackson?
Deep Blue Sea.
No.
Reservoir Dogs.
No,
Mr.
no,
Glass.
it doesn't matter. I remember coming out of that.
Star Wars.
No, and I was pleasantly surprised. No expectations going to the theater. But it's been a
Django?
long time. No, it wasn't Django. Although another great movie that I did. They came out with a prequel. I'm sorry. It's a British movie. Doesn't matter.
Tom Cruise.
No, nice one. Hold on. Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick was a good one.
did.
That's,
I-
you know
I
what?
did.
You're right.
You're right.
That
I
was more
let
recent
out-
than Novel.
I let out many audible groans in that movie.
I didn't.
Like out of
No, I
out of
did. Just like, oh,
pain
yeah.
or-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Positive groans.
Oh, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't
no.
sure there was a-
Positive groans.
Oh, Tom.
And there was nothing going on. It was just, like,
Okay.
it was phenomenal.
Let me ask you this, guys. And I want you to be serious. We're all vulnerable here. This is about mental health. We're all men. Did anyone shed a tear at the end of Top Gun Maverick?
Yes, I cried twice in that movie.
I also shed a tear during that movie at the end.
Yeah,
I didn't.
When he came to the deck at the end, I was just like,
and then when he had the thing with Iceman in his
That was
office
nice.
there.
oh, you cried during that part.
Yeah,
huh?
I looked at my buddy Rand and him and I went to that movie and I looked at and we're just
Don't look
like,
at me.
We're like, someone's cutting onions.
It's hot in here. My eyes are sweating.
I'm sorry, I didn't in that movie.
didn't,
but,
eh?
No.
We all cried during Endgame, though.
Yeah.
Multiple
Oh, yeah.
times. Like,
Even
listen,
recently.
I choked up when Tony Stark died.
Yeah,
I choked up when he yelled Avengers Assemble.
yeah.
I choked up when Black Widow passed away.
Yep. Awful.
By the way, all spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet,
Post
get
spoilers.
out from under a rock. But yeah, like that had me a couple times. That was the most emotionally, I'm going to say this, emotionally satisfying movie.
Because you're coming with 10 years of content
Yeah.
with it, right? Like
And
they just did a
nailed
very
it.
good
I
job
can't- they
with that
nailed it.
first
They
two.
did.
Yeah, totally they did.
I can't
Such a
disagree
good
with you.
movie.
They have
at all.
shit the bed
Ever since then.
Ever since then,
It has been
terrible.
awful.
As much as I want to say Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie, it's got to be Endgame.
It's just
Endgame was
Endgame was so
phenomenal.
complete.
but your
Winter
love
Soldier
of
was-
Endgame
Civil
fills
War
everything.
was Civil War. I also found was really good.
Yeah, that was a good one,
That was a good one too.
They
Endgame
did
was
a
the
good job.
best. Not even close.
They did a good job.
all the Russo brother
Oh,
Marvel movies are my favorite.
they're really hammering them to come back to do the next Avengers.
Yeah,
the
do
Russo
it.
brothers,
Do
but they're
it.
kind of like
Pay them all the monies.
But they see that and they're really trying to get them to come back.
Did they write them too though?
No,
I see the writing.
They wrote Winter Soldier.
they
Correct.
I don't know if they wrote them.
I thought they wrote that one. They didn't write the Avengers.
The writing is just as
If
bad.
only
right now. It's
we
not
had
good.
a way to find out.
Yes. Okay.
Well, while this happens, we have some. We do a thing here on our podcast.
Yeah.
When we have a guest,
Yeah.
it's called Questions for Guests
Questions for guests.
because sometimes we like to have our conversations with our guests. Ed Brubaker is the writer.
Brubaker?
Brubaker of Winter Soldier.
Ed Brubaker is a comic book writer.
Oh, that's right. This is the story arc of the comic book, not the movie.
Hey, that's actually impressive, though. I would not have known that. Yeah. That was well done.
Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Captain America Winter Soldier, right?
Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And I actually have the comic books. I was reading the Captain America line, obviously, because I just spoiled Ed Brubaker, when they gave the Return of the Winter Soldier, it was just espionage Captain America awesomeness.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a really good comic show.
Chris Marcus and Stephen McFeely wrote it.
Yes, I think they wrote most of them. Eh?
They did Civil War. The Avengers is...
Yeah, they need to do all of them. Yeah. Pay them all the money and bring them back.
Bring that host back for the next 10 years.
Allister, I know we've talked a lot about movies.
Yeah.
So what we ask every one of our guests...
I know the answer.
What is your favorite movie?
What is my favorite movie of all time?
We find it is very telling of someone's character to find out what their favorite movie is. And if it's Braveheart, man, we spent a lot of time
We did, and I won't go Braveheart.
Okay.
I'm going to go... Because it is one movie, and it's Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
The trilogy of Lord of the Rings, I will go with, just because, again, I can't pick one of those three. Talking about emotional, the end game being so emotionally satisfying.
But if you had to have a favorite of the three,
of the three,
actually rank the three.
Rank the three. Good one. Probably 2, 3, 1.
That's my ranking too.
Yeah. You know what I'm explaining to my boys. I'm bringing my oldest through him right now. He's got to read the books first.
Oldest?
He's 13.
Mine's 13.
Yeah. So he got to read the books first. Okay.
Yeah, my kid doesn't like to read.
Well, he doesn't. My kid hates to read.
Mine hates to read.
So you're going to make him read Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, he's done two. He's done two. He's doing amazing. He's on The Hobbit. He's on every Harry Potter. He's on The Hobbit. He's on the first 2 Lord of the Rings. I'm so proud of him. Doing amazing.
Sidebar: how do you make him read?
Okay,
if they hate to read. What do you do to motivate?
Great question. He hated to read.
Yeah,
and I fear saying this publicly. Wasn't great at it when he was a young kid. He's been in French immersion for a little while. But he really wanted to watch Harry Potter, and that was what if I ever see that author, I can't think of her name right now, I would give her a big hug. J.K. Rowling. Because she changed my kid's life. He was struggling in school, did all those things, couldn't read, even math questions, right? Was having trouble reading. And finally, all his friends read Harry Potter, and I said, if you read the book, we'll watch the movies. And he did. And that was it just switched for him. He could, after that first book, school, his grades just went skyrocketed. Now honor roll, everything... it was just the motivation, finding the motivation for him. He's struggling with Lord of the Rings. It's a tough slog. That's a tough one.
It is a tough book.
But he's getting through it because the movies are so good. They're so good.
My kid could give a fuck about reading. I can't motivate him to do any of it. He chooses to go to sleep an hour and a half early instead of read one chapter. He just says, nope, I'll go to bed later. And he just nopes me.
Yeah.
I wish I could motivate him.
Yeah.
So Lord of the Rings Part 2. What makes Part 2 better than the other three?
The Uruk-hai in Helm's Deep were
Helm's Deep was the
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that whole sequence, everything on that. I think the movie, that's the series finally gets going when they get to Helm's Deep. And it's okay, the rest of this is going to be absolutely outstanding.
So side note. I think it's the best movie of the three, but I also think it has because keep in mind, I didn't read the books, so I'm coming in blind.
Yeah.
I also thought that the Ents were the dumbest thing in the trilogy.
Sure.
And so for that to still overcome the dumbest thing in the trilogy for me says a lot about that movie. And the extended edition with more Faramir stuff and Boromir stuff was really excellent.
Was really good. For me, that's it. What I find so many movies are lacking right now is that had a lot of CGI in it, but the core component of that whole thing wasn't CGI. There was real guys in real suits in the rain slogging it out on top of walls, and I think that shows in that movie. The Hobbit was awful. All three were awful.
Yeah.
This was outstanding.
I would argue you can't tell as easy that there's a lot of CGI in that movie because they did so many things practically.
And even now, right, we're 22 years removed, 23 years removed from that one.
Wow.
And the filming would have been late 90s?
Yeah.
3 years in New Zealand. The only real place that you can see, that's obviously CGI would when they're the warg fighting.
You're right.
There's some moments there where you're okay, that's fake, and some of the horse riding and stuff. But for it to play this well, for how far CGI has come, it still plays, and it's still unbelievable.
Are you as mad about the prequel trilogy or prequel series as
I refuse to watch a second of it.
Oh, high fives again. That's
Yeah.
twice we've high fived.
Yeah. I refuse. I will not watch it. If they not even going to read the lore and not even get it.
So you've read everything that could
I haven't
possibly
read
be...
the Silmarillion. I started it and I just couldn't get through it. I've read the 3 books and I read The Hobbit.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I wouldn't be able to quote a bunch of it, but I have read it, and I just think J.R.R. Tolkien's probably the best fantasy writer of all time. And and I haven't read a lot of fantasy, but I would that's from what I get, and to disrespect him the way they have on that TV show, I'm out.
Is getting something, even if it's not as good, better than not getting anything?
No. Because again, the original 3 set the bar so high that they can't. You either go back to that or you don't do anything. They should have made the Hobbits.
Content for the sake of content is not worth it. Like, if you're just going to be... If you're not coming out with a purpose and you're just going to be like some fucking random white dudes who are in their 30s and 40s and just want to make a fucking podcast, talk about nothing, waste everyone's fucking stupid. Waste everyone's time.
Exactly.
Right?
Don't listen to that shit.
Yeah. You know, step up. Have a little courtesy for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Have some self-respect.
Find content worth watching.
And consuming.
Not bullshit.
Especially when you have guests on
who only want to talk about themselves.
They only want to talk about themselves.
Quick shout out for Bernard Hill, who just died recently. King Theoden.
Theoden. Yeah, he did
Theoden,
pass away.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable characters. Yes. And I would say the same about The Hobbit. I will watch The Hobbit because I know Peter Jackson used the lore and tried to follow it, but I refuse. I will not watch a single second of the Amazon Prime.
Okay, wow. That's impressive, guys. Your resolve.
Allister,
all right, tell us about yourself a little bit. I took your question. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I was going to tell.
I want you to tell us about
That's
yourself.
a really open thing.
You're a musician.
Such a musician.
Tell us about it, and tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm what are we calling an amateur musician at this point in time, and it's not pro at all.
but would a pro say that? A pro wouldn't say they're a pro musician. They'd say, I do what I can.
Yeah, maybe they would say like I'm a semi-pro. I have made exactly like tens of dollars on my music over the years. So I started playing when I was 16-ish. Played guitar and started singing, and it just kind of morphed into a few gigs here and there. And I've been lucky enough where my brother's a semi-pro bass player, and so learning from those guys and his friends it taught me a ton. And so that's kind of where it's gone. And played a couple local gigs here and there, and that's about it.
So tell us about your entrance into music. Like, when did you know that you were enjoying it enough that you wanted to continue doing this into adulthood?
Great question. I entered, as many people do, through the church. So my dad is a pastor. They tried to get me a guitar when I was really young, hated it, didn't want to do it. Picked up my dad's guitar when I was 16 and started playing it again. And then that was kind of the entrance to music for me.
Okay, as churchgoers,
yeah,
Tanner.
Yeah.
Music through church. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I don't play the organ. And so it turns out there is music in the church that isn't just organ. There are full bands and different things like that. And the level of musicianship is probably greatly increased over I wouldn't say greatly increased. I think we've probably gone down for a while. You think about some of those old hymns and some of those old things that they did back in the centuries ago were pretty phenomenal. Bangers. Yeah. So there's full bands in the church, and that's where I started.
Like, were they pulling you up on stage? Were they pulling you up on stage in front of the people?
Are people clapping? Is there like people clapping in church, like along with the beat?
It depends on the church, right? There's a lot of
stand
different
up and
churches.
Cheer.
cheer. Like
Some churches are like no dancing.
Some churches are no dancing. My church luckily wasn't. They was kind of in between where it was like no, we could dance, but only keep it within yourself,
Bump
right?
and
There's none of that.
when we ask you these
very little
questions,
clapping.
when we ask these questions, we're not trying to offend you or anybody of our listeners.
You can
but are the music you play?
Yeah.
Is it Christian rock?
I play. Well, so I
and
up until about last year, I played in church all the way up through. So I've played a lot of things there. But no, I have a cover band as well that we do, or me and a good friend of mine.
Okay. How does one find Christian rock?
It's on all of your devices, I think. You could probably Google the Christian rocks. No, you can. And so it depends what you're wanting to do. If so, there's a lot of what Christians would call worship music. So it's Christian based.
How many like we'll say like well-known musicians in the world? How many of them started?
I would say a lot more than you would realize.
Doing Christian like church music
realize.
and then becoming,
especially like you think of some of the Southern Baptist churches, man. They just pumped out singers. So like I think and don't quote me on this. I guess I don't really for sure know, but I think Beyonce started singing in church at some point.
'Cause Lady Gaga did. I know that.
Katy Perry grew up in a very Christian home.
was, yeah.
So there's a lot of musicians that have grown up in Christian homes and got their love of music from church. I can't quote a ton, but there are definitely
Better Christian rock band, Creed or Dishwalla? Go.
Creed all the way. Although they what's his name?
Scott
Stapp's come out and said they were never a Christian band.
Fuck off.
I know, that's what he said. So they didn't want the pressure of being labeled a Christian band, but that's fine. So they were somewhat on one, but like POD would have been a Christian band back in the day. There's a band called Skillet right now that would have been a Christian band that they're labeled.
Upon reflection, is Joan Osborne's "One of Us" a scary song? Go.
I don't know what Joan. Can you sing it for
God
me?
was one of us.
Yeah,
Just a stranger on the bus.
I never thought that much into it. I don't know. Sorry.
All right, why? You want to take this next one? You can take this next one.
Yeah.
Why? So you are a guitar player. Why are all bass players losers?
Great question. And again, my brother's a bass player, and I still think that.
Yeah, so you get it. You get it.
Totally.
Why?
No,
Why are they bad?
Why have they?
You know why? It's because they are they're your prototypical just kind of unsung heroes, and they never, and you need that personality to be a good bass player. You need to be one where you don't want the spotlight, but you need to be a bit nerdy.
Yeah.
And you need to hold down this like back corner that nobody knows about, but you can feel when you listen. Like that's why I think they don't want the fame. They just want to lock it in.
I was invited to a friend's wedding, and it was in a church, and another friend of ours was kind of co-opted into playing music during the ceremony, but again more band-esque. So like he played guitar, his wife sang and played some piano, and so they play three tunes. And there's a bass player there, and quintessential like pocket protector guy playing a bass, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing their song and dance, and the bass player is the one who chose the 3 songs. As I looked into it after, and so song 2 or 3 kicks off, and there's a bass solo, as everybody needs. This guy, he's just standing there, he's doing the bass, and he's just waiting for the song, and he's planning, waiting, and I mean there's like 80 people in this church. So anyway, this bass solo comes out, and he steps forward in front of everybody. And he starts just thrusting and hip driving and crushing this bass to his heart's content, and just in his most blissful. And I'm sure for him, he's the happiest he can possibly be. And I'm sitting there just judging the shit out of him. I'm just like, you loser.
I forced my brother to do a bass solo once, and I will never do it again. And he will tell me never to do it again. And he did a great job of it, but there's just nothing cool about a bass solo. There's just nothing cool about it.
I got a trivia question for you guys.
Oh.
There is a famous top 40 charted song. It's from a while ago that famously had no bass guitar in it. Can you name it?
Oh my gosh, I don't know that one.
Would it be? Are we talking hair metal or punk?
Neither. 80. It's 80. It's from the 80s, and it's a rock song.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
No, that didn't have any guitars at all in it.
So I'm right.
Meatloaf.
So technically you're right.
I'm right.
Meatloaf.
Okay.
I would do anything.
No, that's not true. It's actually, ready for this?
Yeah.
Prince, and the song is Kiss.
Of course, Prince would do that.
It's all high guitar sounds. There's not a single and electric drums.
I have to go back and
there's
listen.
actually no bass guitar in that song.
I'll listen to it as well.
I have to go back and listen to that.
Prince, unbelievable.
Yeah, he's my favorite guitarist of all time.
Yeah, he's unbelievable and underrated actually in the guitar world, which is weird.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing way he can do it. Sorry, second best guitarist of all time. I apologize.
Who's the first?
Tom Morello.
I disagree.
I love Tom Morello.
Well, I'm glad you love him. That doesn't mean he's good.
The things that he can do and make the sounds he can make with his guitar, I just blow my mind every time I hear him.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's bad. He's not.
Hall of Fame, Tom Morello.
Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame. Rage got inducted last year.
He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Rage was inducted.
Rage
in the Hall of Fame.
got inducted
last year.
I don't.
Yeah, so did Dolly Parton.
So who's your Mount Rushmore of guitarists?
Prince and Tom Morello.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
that's right. There. Stevie Ray Vaughan for me would be like he's for me the probably the best that's ever lived.
Who's the guitar player on the Who?
Oh, I can't remember that one.
Yeah, what's
It's really good. I got to look it up.
I forget who's.
It was all good.
All I
It
know
was all
is Pete
good.
Townsend. It wasn't Pete Townsend.
It wasn't him.
So just they are. You agree? They're just losers. Bass players.
Generally, although here's the problem. They're like IT. You need them. You need them.
Yeah, you do need bass.
You do need like.
Would you prefer an electric bass or like an actual?
No, get the actual bass player.
Okay.
No, you don't mess around. I don't like the whole movement towards E basses.
Yeah.
Again, that's just piano. They're just toning it down. So if I needed a piano player, I'd get a piano player.
A piano.
Yeah. So, but bass players, man, they're like second most important to the band.
So what bands have you played in, and what styles of music are you playing?
I played in I've a couple bands with no names. A bunch of bands with no names.
And give us the names of the bands that you are in.
The one ours is called the Last Minute Letdowns. Well, we got hired pretty last minute, and so we just kind of went with that name, and it actually worked out for us. So that's kind of our band, local band in the small city where we live.
How many people in it?
Depends on the gig, and depends how much we can afford. For sure, 4, hopefully 5 or 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like a piano player, and I like harmonies. I think that's really important. So we play like covers, whatever, country, whatever gets people moving.
Okay.
And in the small city we live in, country plays. It just does.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, people dance, people move to it, and so that's kind of where we'll go. But I like 3 singers, so I like having a female singer and the 3-part harmonies. I think are really important and kind of filling everything.
Has there ever been a good country guitarist?
Oh, there's lots. Brad Paisley's phenomenal. Brad Paisley's unbelievable.
What is a Brad Paisley? Go.
He's a garnish you put on steak.
It is delicious.
Yes, he's
delicious.
So good.
Brad Paisley is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So you have a female member of your band, you said?
Yes. Yes, we have. I haven't had a gig in a little bit, and so yes, she's phenomenal. Nicole sang unbelievably, and so she's amazing.
Do you sing in your band as well?
I do. Yes, I sing most of the songs. It's nice to get the breakup again and get the female.
You got a good rock voice?
No, I got a country voice, I think.
Okay.
Maybe maybe you can disagree with me, but
did you see me and Tanner's show?
I did. Yeah,
so,
I was there.
Break down how you thought Tanner and I sang our rock songs. Go.
That's right.
You guys did very, very well.
Right.
Your voices are pretty like yours is pretty baritone. You're pretty low.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is nice, and yours is kind of
very white.
It's a nice level as well. You guys did really well. The one thing I told Tanner about, and you can do it for fairly cheap, is I'd go in-ear monitors with you guys, just because you couldn't hear yourself. I don't think as well when you're on a stage. There, hearing yourself is tough, especially when you guys did how many shows in how many days?
10 shows in 3 weeks.
And so after what, 3 shows, your voice has probably got a little tired and a little shot.
I had one night where my voice was absolutely shot. And
basically
it
gone.
cracked.
Yeah.
It cracked on me.
Yeah. And we've all had that happen. But hearing yourself's a big deal because then you're not over singing.
You should have come in with your awesome country voice.
Well, so I would say that. So I've listened to you a few times, Allister, and you're very good at turning the twang on and off.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
when it calls for it.
Are you a country fan?
Dude, I have everything on my iPod. I will go to country more and more. I like Southern rock and country. That's where I go to often.
What's Southern rock?
So Southern rock would be, oh man, I can't even. All of a sudden, like Need to Breathe, different bands like that. Corbyn a little bit. Well, there's a Canadian band that just came out that I can't think of it at all right now. But I like it's just a bit looser, a bit different like that.
I'm a more metal rock guy or hard rock guy.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Octane on Sirius XM radio.
Yeah.
What have you been listening to for
the
rock?
classical station?
Classical station.
Yeah.
And what's classical now to you? Is that 80s, 90s?
No,
or
like Mozart and yeah.
I love the classical music.
I do too.
I used to
calming.
I used to have an office job, and I listened to a lot of classical music.
Yeah. Vivaldi's probably my favorite.
Edvard Grieg in the Hall of the Mountain King is my favorite.
I don't know how to listen to it.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
yeah,
dun.
okay. Yeah.
I like Vivaldi.
I do.
The Four Seasons. So the Glorious Sons would have been one of those. I just looked it up. One of those bands. But I seriously, I have everything from like Eminem to Celine Dion to country music to you name it. I've got it.
Yeah.
And I listen to it.
Well, who's your favorite artist then?
Favorite artist? That's tough for me. It's between U2 and the Foo Fighters.
Okay.
And the reason I say U2's that's often people don't like that answer. I feel like they are the
They're
three.
the Mel Gibson of rock.
They're the Mel Gibson
They
rock,
are
yeah.
the Mel Gibson.
I would
They're
say
the skinny jeans of rock bands.
3 out of those 4 guys are not very talented. Like they're not very good. Like if you watch The Edge play on anything else, he's not great. He's not a great guitar player.
My favorite U2 song is one that Bono doesn't even sing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's called Numb.
Is it the one they made you have on your
Yeah,
phone
Edge,
like
Edge
10 years
sings
ago?
it. Edge sings it. It's called Numb.
Them, yeah, and it actually has a decent little voice, that guy. But what they do is they each do what they do well together, and it just works. And so I like it because like Bono's great. I think Bono is a good frontman, but they're not a great band. Like they're not each individually. You're like, who are these guys? But together they're magic.
So to go back to our conversation before,
Yeah.
you sounded like you had some Tom Morello hate in you.
Yeah.
And like he's like he's one of the champions of rock and champions of free speech and champions.
Alice, you're going to
of
find out that
the
Corbyn
people.
finds his hills.
Yeah, this is a big one.
He's
Okay,
going to jump
Tom
on them
Morello.
So I need to
sometimes,
know why you dislike Tom Morello.
Because I think anytime you need, so this will go against my U2 thing. Anytime you need a bunch of effects to make something sound good, you're not actually playing.
Shots fired.
So this is my problem with him.
What if you're already rocking? Though?
Is I find it's completely destructive. It's not. It doesn't add to the actual song. So Tom Morello, Killing in the Name of, right?
Fucking amazing,
Great song, but then his solo sucks. It just doesn't. It doesn't fit.
Dude.
It doesn't add to the song, and it doesn't flow in or out of the song. To me, right? That's my
Okay.
that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so that for me, that would be the big thing. Is I don't care how good you are if you're not a part of the band and don't make the song better and flow.
Yeah.
You great.
So we all
Good
have
for you.
a mutual acquaintance. I'll refer to him as Burke. He's listening.
Yeah.
Him and I had tickets May 6th, 2020
Okay. Yeah.
to go to Rage. Bucket list.
yeah.
And fucking COVID canceled it. And then they rescheduled for 21. Then they canceled it. Then they rescheduled for 22. Then they canceled it again.
Yeah.
And then they came out and said, we don't like each other anymore. We're not doing it. So I don't get to see them.
Well, here's why he sucks, because he started opening for the Dave Matthews Band.
Oh,
Oh, there it is.
Just
Yeah,
fucking garbage
Yeah.
band.
Clay
That's
from our earlier
all you
guest.
need to say. All you need to say. So
Dave Matthews.
yeah, you can end. Live is king. So if you like recreating that live, it just doesn't have the same feel, doesn't have the same sound. I just don't. I would go see them live. I have a ton of respect for the band, and I like a lot of their music. I just don't. I don't put him in my my pantheon of
And that's
guitarists.
okay. And that's okay.
Speaking of live, what's the biggest room you've played to?
Yeah.
Good question. Probably 500 people, 550.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
It was a church though, guys. So
Did they-
like,
did they
it,
clap? Well, so do they have?
Yeah,
so let me
every
ask you
now
this. Okay, so you're in the church,
yeah.
and you're still putting in, I assume, effort.
I don't. Anytime you go up in front of anybody to do what you,
It's scary.
It's terrifying, and so you put in some effort.
So then, do you? And I ask this because I don't know. I've never gone on those stages, but do you? I would assume that when you've finished a set or whatever for a church audience, would you think that their reaction, their applause, is because they have to, or because they want to?
Great question. No, I'll be bluntly honest here right now. Christians won't clap just because they have to. They can get upset with what you do, and they're not just going to give you the charity clap unless it's like a small kid on stage who kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So no, I haven't got a lot of claps, but it depends what you want, right? So again, there's a lot of parallels to playing live music regardless of where you're playing it. So what vibe do you want to end your set? How do you want to end it? Most of the sets I end aren't like clappy sets. You're kind of trying to you have to think of church in a little bit of a disconnected way where it's a live performance all the way through, right? So the pastor's coming up and speaking. You don't want to. You're trying to set him up for success as well. So there's
opening
there's a
acts.
lot of totally
No encores in church music.
every now and then. Every now and then it depends.
Let me ask you this for all your gigs.
Yeah.
Because I have a theory that people everywhere are inherently lazy.
Yeah.
They just cover it up in different ways.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a gig
Yeah.
and you finish and people clap for an encore, are you like, fuck, I got to go back out there? Or are you like, oh, let's go out there?
It has happened so rarely for me that I'm still excited when it happens. I remember one of the first gigs I ever got paid for. We had an encore ready to go, and we didn't get a clap or anything, and we just went on and did it anyway.
So you had a pre-planned
We were
encore.
young and stupid, and so totally.
You were back.
It was really
you
bad.
called us
it
back.
was really, really bad.
What's
so
the- people are getting out of their chairs,
so
packing their purses. They're like, I guess we're still.
we gotta,
okay.
we gotta stay. Oh,
What's the
God.
most meta song you've played?
I don't know what that
Like if you, well, like for instance, there's a song in like, have you ever seen Road Trip?
Yeah.
Like you know that Scotty Doesn't Know song?
Yeah.
That'd be a fucking fun song to play.
Yeah.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
So someone's out in the audience and you're what? You're banging their old lady and then you gotta sing about it?
And then you go sing about it.
I never experienced that one.
Good answer.
So I can't answer that one. I'm sorry. I wish I could.
What's one thing when you're performing on stage that you like the best? What gets you off on stage, Allister?
What gets me off on stage is when
Not
you
in front of the ladies.
when you find there's a moment of connection where you know you have the room. And that happens in acting, that happens in speaking, public speaking, that happens in music. Anywhere you're in front of people, there's a moment in whatever you're doing where you know you have the room or you know you don't. Mm-hmm. And the second is so terrifying when you're like, I don't have this room.
Yeah.
These jokes aren't landing. This song isn't, whatever it is, isn't hitting. And you've never felt more alone, and time goes by so slowly, and you're like, I didn't want to go back out for the second set or whatever it's going to be. But those moments where you know you have the room, and for me that happens the most when you have a quality of musicians behind you that you don't have to worry about them. Right. So I've played with a lot of musicians. I've played with pros. I've played with people that are just learning, and when I play with the guys that are pro, guys and girls that are pro, there's just a lack of, I don't have to worry about that, right? I can just do what I do.
Yeah.
And lead people or into whatever I'm leading them into, whether that's a church setting where you're trying to lead them into something greater than themselves, or whether it's a live gig and you're just trying to lead them into having fun and releasing a little bit of energy and dance or whatever they want to do.
So last week we talked about the TV show Baby Reindeer. Have you seen Baby Reindeer yet?
I haven't, no.
Okay. What about... Tell us about. Have you had any stalkers from?
Again,
No?
they can't see me. I'm not stalker worthy on many accounts.
Shush now.
You said your
but-
lead guitar, right?
No, I play rhythm and sing. Yeah.
Okay. What's the most obscure? Not obscure. What's the most least churchy song you've played at church?
Oh, at church?
Yeah. Like you busting out, like you fight for your right to party, or what?
Yeah, probably not.
No. Okay.
No. Not really the setting.
It's a good beat.
I mean,
No
in
Beastie
a
Boys?
church, I'll jam to whatever we have. I've played a lot of covers, just kind of warming up or whatever, but never in front of people. Again, you're kind of trying to bring them into a moment, so it's a bit of a tough one.
I'm teaching my kid about the Beastie Boys, and so I've been playing songs like just I started with Sabotage, and I'm working Sabotage into his brain. I'm like, bam! And actually, we had this kid that I used to work with, and the reason I say his kid because I could be his dad, and he's talking to me about this Kendrick Lamar Drake beef diss track.
Oh, yeah, beefing up.
Beefing up. Or
Beefing it up.
Apparently they can create songs in a week because they're diss tracking each other back and forth.
Yeah.
Like this isn't prearranged or whatever.
Yeah.
Lamar
And-
put like a whole album in like 4 days.
Yeah, and then
to
Drake's
destroy
like,
him.
oh yeah? And next day, here's my reply.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this wasn't set up. Anyway, he's like, oh, and I'm listening to this hip-hop music, and it's all just depressing. It's very monotone, and it's very... try to fit too many syllables in a bar, and and there's auto tuners for hip hop. I don't understand that.
I can't do it.
And I'm like, so I said to the kid, his name's Tristan. I said, Tristan, we're gonna go to the '90s for a bit, and I want you to go back home, and I want you to listen. I gave him Sabotage to listen to. I gave him Intergalactic to listen to.
Yeah.
And then just a couple more Beastie Boys. I want you to listen to the Beastie Boys. Okay, these are the guys that LL Cool J attributes his entire career to. Beastie Boys, Hall of Fame. Like it's a different kind of hip hop, but listen to it and get it's something. I think you can feel. Put it this way, I think you can feel the Beastie Boys music more than you can feel like the hip hop of nowadays.
Yeah, hip hop is much. It's a show, right? Like hip hop and a lot of pop entertainment. They're doing a show. but it's not necessarily music driven as it was.
I need to have
right?
a beat like. Like,
And I think you can feel like humans can feel music, right?
Yeah. Absolutely can.
And you feel that difference.
Yeah.
You feel it.
I need to be able to hit with the music.
But it's not. It's the feel, but I think it's the feel behind the music as well. So in the studio like that hip hop is made all with a synth. Like with a laptop like this and a small little keyboard, about a foot wide,
Maybe need a
and they
bigger
can make
keyboard.
90% of that. There's different sizes.
Get a
keyboards.
bigger keyboard then, fellas.
So
Average.
So that's why, again, so I said earlier that like Foo Fighters would be one of my favorite bands. I have so much respect for them because they went back to tape, and they started like so their was a Guiding Light or something light album was in a garage on tape, like they did back in the Nirvana days on the same soundboard.
Yeah.
And so like they actually went back and there's no auto tune, there's none of those things. You play your instrument and you play it well and you go do it. So
Would you welcome Mel Gibson into your band?
who wouldn't really?
What would he play?
I wouldn't let him talk much. I wouldn't let him.
You don't give him the mic. Maybe don't give him the mic.
Okay, hold on. What instrument do you think he would play? He's not. I don't think he's a bass
No,
player.
he's a percussionist. Mel Gibson bangs.
So just to keep in theme, he should play the
The
bagpipes.
cymbals.
just because of
No,
Braveheart.
what's
just because of
Aussie. So the rain.
He's
the rain
Scottish
pipe?
now, damn it.
yeah, the rain pipe. Yeah, I'd give him the rain pipe.
You know what? Can we give a little props to Mel Gibson? Like, he nailed that Scottish accent. Australian guy who's from America nailed the Scottish accent.
Yeah,
I think it's easier for him.
Kevin Costner, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, couldn't even do an English accent.
yeah, but who knew Batman was from Wales?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Good points. Good point, Allister.
All good points. Listen, if you, that's my, it's
Go, please do. Yeah.
Okay, if you could choose, what decade of music would you want to be super famous in,
Great question.
and what genre?
What genre? Oh, I think it's tough. I don't think you can bring it like the 80s rock could be it's the number one.
Yeah,
It's like the I think we're getting away. There's still studio tours stadium tours and different things like that. But like back then it was that way, right? So I would go late 80s, early 90s.
yeah. I appreciate the '90s rock.
Yeah,
too. Like,
and there was a
the harder
feeling
stuff.
to it that was phenomenal, right? And again, actual musicians playing actual instruments at different times. So I would probably go late 80s, early 90s when rock and roll was still a thing. People came to shows without phones and actually just enjoyed the music and different things like that.
Yeah.
That's for sure where I'd go with that. Yeah.
I have an appreciation for late '90s, early 2000s heavy rock, because like I told you, I was listening to Octane on Sirius a lot, and they've got some pretty good bands going on right now. But I think the world was more accepting of heavy rock back then. Like Evanescence was a heavy rock band.
Great couple songs. Horrible album.
System of Fallen, I love that.
Our Lady
Well,
Peace.
it's a good.
They re-released it.
Yeah.
System of a Down was a hard rock. And they
Chop
had
Suey.
great Chop Suey, Toxicity.
Yeah.
Great songs.
Rammstein back with
Rammstein, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like as much the heavy metal just screaming, but like if you can make a melody into it, there's a so I don't know if I told this already. Have I talked about hard rock on here?
I'm just waiting for the landing. No, go ahead.
No, because I don't remember sometimes what we talk about.
No,
so I don't repeat
we
it.
haven't repeating yet.
So I saw a tweet from a band called Spirit Box. Okay. And they were mad because they lost the Emmy this year, or Grammy, sorry, to Metallica. And they're like, if we put up bullshit like Metallica too, I bet we win all the Emmys. And I'm like, I want to listen to Spirit Box now. And it's a heavy metal band, and they have a female front woman.
Yeah.
And it fucking kicks. Like it reminds me of Evanescence 20 years ago, and it's just banging. And like that's the kind of music I'm like, I really want to give this more of a chance. And so I've been listening to Octane quite a bit lately.
What was that? What's the band with the female one recently that they put out that album with Kerosene? And just they got a lot of rock bangers in that one too. I gotta look it up.
Yeah,
but yeah, the
yeah.
female front is really good.
I would love to find out about it.
Like the early Paramore was phenomenal.
Okay.
Early Paramore was really, really good. Before she kicked the two brothers out, who started the band back in the day. So yeah, there's been I would agree. Like Evanescence started a new genre where like these amazing female singers were singing hard rock, and it was awesome.
It was
right?
great.
Hard rock, it's just a certain type of emotion. Then that female singer can come in there and do that was phenomenal. And I think it adds a ton to that kind of style. So, did you find it there, Tanner?
I think
loading.
Hole,
It's loading.
the band Hole with Courtney, what's her nuts? Kurt Cobain's
Courtney Love.
Courtney Love, yeah, she had some bangers too.
I don't know.
the band
I
Hole.
never listened to much of her
Adam's
music.
Rib and Celebrity
I'll have
Skin.
to take a look.
And they were just Celebrity Skin specifically. Like,
Yeah.
just a great album.
Yeah, I feel like we're on a precipice here where I'm hoping some rock bands will start playing again. Like there's a new band called Royal Republic at I think Denmark.
The Interrupters.
Oh, the Interrupter. Okay, I don't know that one.
Interrupters. I'm gonna have to
I'll
put
take a
that
look.
Yeah, they got banger hits.
Yeah. They got some ones again. Early Paramore, like look at the Riot album, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Live in Chicago was a great album. Yeah, so there's a couple good bands coming out right now, but not as much rock music.
Do you have any specific green room requests?
Yeah,
Oh,
what's
great
your
question.
rider look like?
I've only ever put in one rider, and I didn't get those options.
They just said no.
I was playing at a conference, and it was cool. But the biggest, just me, any musician where you don't have to set up your own gear would be the coolest thing in the world. I've never had it.
Just
I've
walk
had
in
it
and get
kinda
your
half.
guitar.
When you literally walk in and just get your guitar handed to you, I think you've made it. That's making it to me, right? You can sell a million, whatever, but if you can walk on stage and just someone hand you a guitar and you just start playing, it would be amazing. Never gotten to that point. I've gotten half there where like the stage was mostly set up and I just kind of had to plug in. But no, but my rider would be just give me a private space where I can just like have some quiet time before I go out, get my head right, and drink some water and some tea, and then get out.
Throat
Do you wear earplugs?
Generally I play with in-ear monitors.
Oh, ear
so
monitors,
they
okay.
are, yeah. So it'd be a wireless pack that you put on the back of your belt or whatever, and then so you have that. It took me a long time to get to, like, though they're tough to get to, or I found them difficult to get to know and appreciate. But now I've played with them for years, and I going back sucks. Just sucks. You can't hear yourself, right? So when everything's right in your ears, it's really really awesome if you have a good sound.
Does it drown out the music for you to hear though?
No, because you can. We have apps on our phones, and you can literally adjust everything and what you want to hear and how you want to hear it, and different things like that. You can spread them if you have. There's different programs and systems where you can pan things left and right. So if I want my drums in my right ear, I can put them there, or whatever you want to do, right? And so there's a lot of that technology now that you can hear everything you want to hear, but if you don't want to hear something, you just cut it right out too, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, like the bass player.
Yeah.
What's a common misconception about performing that the general public might have?
It is so much work. Like and to do it well is so much work. And I've never. I think people, it's just sort of like, I've heard it so often. Well, just go up there and do your thing, right, and just make it real and authentic. And you're like, well, okay, hold on there. You can't do that unless you put in a ton of work to start, right? And so just like you guys are live performers, you're nearing the end of your 10 show was your best shows.
Yeah.
Right? Because you didn't have to think about your lines anymore. You didn't have to think about your cues anymore. You didn't have to think about whatever. You could just perform and read the room. Same way in music, right? When you don't have to think about what you're playing. Like you think of these guys in the 80s. They have played those songs thousands of times. And I'm not even joking about that. Thousands of times. To the point where they would go on stage blackout drunk and on whatever other drugs they possibly could, and they would play it perfectly every single time, right? And so I think the misconception is that artists or musicians aren't disciplined, don't have all that. And I watch my brother try and prep for shows because he actually does bigger shows than I ever will, and he puts in so much work just to go for this one show.
Even though he's a bass player.
Even though it's this most simplistic of instruments, he puts in a ton of work.
Nothing pisses me off more. Nothing pisses me off more when I'm at a concert and they make me sing the song. I'm like, bitch, I paid you.
I disagree. That's funny.
Bitch, I paid you to fucking sing it.
But why? Why? Because
I didn't come to sing the song. Don't point the mic at me. I didn't do it.
Well, okay, I don't like when they point at the individuals
Like,
people.
and they always do the best part of the song. It's like, here's the chorus that we all want to hear you sing. Nope, you guys sing it instead. I'm like, fuck you guys.
I've never heard this reaction before.
Oh, it pisses me off.
If it's the climax of the song, I get your point. But like for me, I don't know. There's something connecting about it. Tanner, where do you land on singing out with the crowd?
I think it's more, yeah, if they're making it happen and it feels forced, yes, but there has to be a moment in a performer, especially if it's their music, where 1,000 people are singing your song back to you. That's got to be a feeling, right?
Unbelievable. And even songs you haven't written. Yeah.
More often than not, too, if you notice it, just watch a bunch of concerts. More often than not, they've written a song and they know full well they can't hit this note anymore.
Yes.
And so they're pointing the mic at me to fucking sing it for them.
that's Bon
And I'm
Jovi
just like,
recently.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
John's done that a lot recently. Call him John.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
Who his son just married 11.
Really?
By the way. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, 11 from the show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Side note.
But I will say though, there's something connecting, and in many different ways. There's been a few times where I've stepped away from the mic and let the crowd take it because they're already taking it, and those moments can be unbelievable. But you're right. If it's pre-planned and it's the best part of the song, it's a tough thing.
I think regular people do like it, Corbyn. Like, I think this is a weird Corbyn.
This might be a you thing.
You know what? I think this is an unsaid thing that everybody agrees with me on.
When we have our 300 comments after this episode, like we always do,
hundreds,
everyone's going to say you're being weird.
No. Okay. I'm gonna lay out my argument one more time.
Okay, one more time.
I pay for the concert that I'm coming to.
Yeah.
I'm paying the artist to perform for me.
Yeah.
And you're making me sing your song.
Dance monkey.
That is bullshit.
He's not.
I showed up. I did my
I
part.
sang 2 verses. I want $12 back right now.
You know what, Corbyn? Though, if you didn't sing and nobody did, they would stop doing it. And so, at the end of the day, people are doing it, and it's a good point in many of the sets I've watched.
Okay, let me tell you. So I don't like live music, and so don't get mad at me for this, or concerts in general. And here's why: every concert's the same, and it starts like this. Okay, name a city. Name a city, real quick.
We'll do.
Let's go Portland.
Let's go on Oregon side too.
Nice. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Here's the concert. Hey, Portland! And then you guys are.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Do you want to rock? And then they're like, yeah. And then all they do is go back and forth on stage. Back and forth. Okay, you can kill the applause now. Back and forth on stage. Let's Ranch or wherever. Or Portland, you're the greatest ever. And then they just walk back and forth on stage. And it's so boring.
Wow.
Yeah. Again.
And then you go to Tom Morello, who's wired into his guitar, and doesn't walk anywhere, and just looks down at his guitar.
Yeah, but I'm listening to the music, I guess. I don't know. Although, you know what? I will say this. Best band I've heard live.
Yeah.
Well, 2 bands. So a couple concerts that I've liked. Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Fucking amazing.
Okay.
I'll tell you just a quick story about this. So the stage was set up. So he's got a stage, and below the stage going to the floor are a bunch of screens. Okay. Then he's got this giant skull in the middle of the fucking thing, of the stage. Like, I mean, giant, like twice the size of a person.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's 2 platforms coming off the middle side of the skull, and there's 2 more screens right there. Okay. Anyway, band comes out. They're dressed like zombie SS officers. Okay,
this one does.
And then
bold move.
2 zombie girls come onto the 2 platforms, and then Rob Zombie, dressed in a skeleton tuxedo, comes out of the skull's face. And he just crushed like a living dead girl.
Goes to Dracula.
And they're all like, and the card players are like doing zombie motions as they play guitar, and the girls are dancing like they're undead.
Yeah.
One of the coolest concerts I've ever seen.
Why do you think they went the old Nazi zombies? Like, can we go with zombies that aren't fascist?
My guess is this. This is my guess.
Okay.
So Rob Zombie. Was it Rob Zombie? Yes, it was Rob Zombie's fake trailer for Grindhouse. Which was werewolf men of the SS.
Of the SS.
And they were all SS officers.
Werewolves in the bunker.
So that's my guess why they did it.
I gotcha. All right. And again, there's a lot more thought that's put behind every single one of those songs and where they fit and all those different things.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That was a great
game.
concert.
That chess game is unbelievable. But
And then-
it was a good concert. I went U2 concert was really good. I went to a Bryan Adams concert with Tanner.
true.
That was also very, very good. But
Best sounding concert where they sounded the most accurate. Imagine Dragons. That guy sang his heart off. Face off.
George
Heart
Strait for me.
Heart out, face off.
straight, hey?
George Strait sat on a chair and sang for 3 hours without stopping.
Yeah, I love
and
that.
everyone was the exact
Love
same
that.
as a record.
Yeah. That's really
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Probably easy. I imagine it's easier to hit the country songs more than a rock song.
Well, and he never
Live?
jived too hard off of his key, right?
George Tanner wasn't.
But he sat there and sang for 3 hours straight. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys that can do that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Well, it's nice to see how when they respond back to you. I'm going to assume as doing stuff in musicians, it's not as sexy a lifestyle as everyone makes entertainment out to be, whether it's playing music or acting or whatever. And you're doing a lot of things and a lot of time and a lot of prep, and it eats at life. So it does create, tough journeys. So part of what Corbyn and I like to do here is we like to cornerstone a lot of these conversations on how this kind of takes you as our guest through their mental health. So walk us through your mental health journey and, through music, how you have found things to help you cope, what you take out of it, what you want to leave behind, and kind of where you've been there.
It's a loaded question. I think mental health's an interesting one. I mean, if you look at any musician today, they're generally not doing great at the mental health aspect of it. I've never had to go on a tour or anything like that, but I think anytime you go up on stage, whether that's singing or talking or doing whatever you're doing, there's always a high that comes with that, regardless of whether most times when you have the crowd, obviously there's those low times too, when you don't have the crowd and you leave and you're just like, I just want to go crawl into a hole right now.
Yeah.
Or you've made a mess up that you've hated every second of it and you just want to get off stage.
Yeah.
And I've done some doozies.
And how does that feel? Like it's not like if you screw up at work and you can say, shit, that's bad, and walk away. If you're in the middle of a 30-minute set and you're in like minute 10, and already in your mind, you're like, I fucked this, but you still have to go for 20 minutes.
Or are you sitting there thinking, okay, what song can we get him back?
Yeah,
every now and so both. I once a 4-minute song a guy had written, and I was introducing it to the crowd I was going with, and he wasn't in the band, but he had written it and wanted to start singing it.
Yeah.
He was at the back of the room, and I did the song in the wrong timing signature, which, if you don't know music, doesn't really matter. But I knew it, the band knew it, he knew it, and it was just me and him looking at each other, and I was panicked, and he was horrified that his song was being completely and utterly ruined.
Oh no!
And I had 4 minutes of me just looking at him, being like, I don't know what's wrong right now, because I couldn't figure it out in the moment, and you can't stop.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, we're just going to battle through this. It was awful. It was the longest 4 minutes of my life. Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. But to go back, I've tried to deal with mental health in many different ways. Drinking would be one of them for probably a year. Didn't really help. It turns out.
Come on now.
Alcohol.
Come on now.
And trying to drown your sorrows doesn't work. Almost, if it weren't for my wife pulling me out of that hole, I don't know where that would have went. So I've tried a lot of those other things. For me, understanding, obviously I come from a faith background, so that's going to be a big part of my life and a big part of my mental health journey, right? Knowing that in many ways my identity is not in my performance in different things, which is always helpful. And then honestly, like my wife and my kids, man, they pull me out of so many messes, and just to be able to disconnect from my phone, disconnect from whatever I'm struggling with, and just going to hang out with them for a little while is amazing. So 18 years of marriage, my wife is still a big part of that, and so for me that's a big one.
You got married in 2006?
2006.
Yeah, me too. What month?
October 7th.
Oh, mine was May 6th.
Oh, we weren't married on the same. That would have been nice.
Crazy.
That would have been nice.
Well, we have a 13-year-old. How old are your other kids?
13. He's about to turn 14, about to turn 11, and 8, going to turn 9 this fall.
Yeah.
He was born on our anniversary.
Okay.
Weird. Little jerk. Little jerk.
Is there a moment, a time when you come off?
He did you a favor. What are you talking about? Now you have to worry about
that's easy to
anniversary
remember.
presents.
Yeah, that's
Just be thanking that kid.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
When you come off stage, and what's that decompression like for you? Because that you're in a mindset that I wouldn't say is normal.
No.
So how do you find that effect when you walk off?
You go, so let's say a good show, right? Because bad shows, you go and you're like, man, that sucked, and you just kind of shake your head and you get rid of it. You just kind of have to, and you guys have had the same thing, I'm sure, acting, where you're like, I was not my best, crowd sucked, or whatever it's going to be, right? Maybe you were at your best, but the crowd was horrible, and you just want to get off the stage. I think for me as a musician, when you get off the stage, I hate the people coming up to me and be like, oh, it was good, and like, I don't love the fake, it was good. I love a legitimate, like, from someone you respect or whatever. That's always nice. But get through that, because that is what it is.
Yeah.
And then it's often like, I won't listen to music for the next, like, 3 days. Like my truck always has music in it or something. Like my vehicle's always got music.
You're listening to the Radical Apathy podcast.
Yeah, all the time.
all the time.
I'll throw the Radical Apathy podcast on every now and then. Another local podcast, the Average Superior podcast every now and then. But it'll just be silence, and I'll just try and calm down, because I mean, at the end of the day, you can get an ego pretty quick when you're performing, and again, whatever you're performing. And so my first thing is grounding myself back into like, I am not. Here are the mistakes I made. How I can get better. Hey, this song played. I'll debrief the whole show in my head. What song came after what, and I'll go through it, and then I'll just file it away, and I'll just move on. And so for me, it's not. The process is usually about a 24-hour to 48-hour period. Talk to the band members. Have some silence. Debrief the whole thing, and then go back the next time.
Can you go back, or do you go back and watch yourself?
I have. It is the worst thing in the world. Just like I probably won't listen to this podcast afterwards because I don't like the way my voice sounds. Especially
you sound quite
buttered.
It's nice. You sound really nice.
That.
Yeah.
But singing and all those different things. Again, you're putting yourself out there. And have you guys watched yourselves act?
I can't.
Yeah. I have. I've watched the video.
There was a guy who does a lot of public speaking and different things like that, and he has his own podcast, and he said at one point, if you watch yourself back, you're either going to get better or you're going to get quit. There's no like middle ground there, right? Like you're going to know. And so I have watched myself back. It's awful. I've done some studio work as well, and that's just as bad because you can hear every little.
You hear every fuck up.
Like you're like, oh, I suck at my instrument so bad, or I suck at singing or whatever. It's humbling for sure. So yeah, I have, and it's not good.
So what medications are we all on, guys?
I'm on pantoprazole recently.
Yeah, I'm on the Vyvanse, and
Vyvanse?
I've also got some, like I mentioned, Zopiclone.
Yeah,
and then the good stuff is the quintiapine.
So
or Seroquel.
What's Seroquel?
It's generic. Quintiapine is generic Seroquel.
Seroquel. Yeah,
helps me sleep. Yeah,
that's the good stuff.
Does it do it for you?
Yeah. Well, it gets me to sleep, and it keeps me asleep. So the Seroquel, I got a mind that spins, and like always going. So the Seroquel turns that off, and then the Zopiclone gets me to sleep, and then the Seroquel keeps me asleep.
Really?
Yeah.
And the erectile dysfunction pills we talked about.
Yeah, but I don't take those anymore.
It's more situational.
I like having a soft penis. What did I say?
more situational for sure.
I was once.
I don't have to wake up with that bothersome boner every morning.
I was once.
It's just awful. Like I don't need that.
I was once roofied with erectile dysfunction medication in college.
And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Did it work?
It's not.
How long did it really last for?
Well, that's the thing. It's not. It wasn't. What's the big blue pill one?
Viagra.
Yeah. So Viagra just gives you an erection. The other one, Cialis thing, is it doesn't give you the erection, but when erection happens, it is like all hands on deck.
Really?
That's kind of the difference. So they had thought it was a joke, so they crushed up 2 Cialis and put it in my drink, and everything was fine, and you don't notice it until I had to step around people at a party, and they're just like light brushing as you like step by them.
That did it for you.
And oh man,
were you like?
Did I have to go sit down?
Were you like Kevin McAllister in the, or not Kevin McAllister, Kevin from The League?
Yes,
and he had those silk pants.
The fear
so
boner?
good.
Oh, the silk pants. Yeah, the silk pants.
Exactly.
The fear boner. No, it's like the silk pants, right?
Yeah.
Is that just immediately? I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, oh. Okay, I have to go sit down somewhere because and they're just in the corner giggling because they watch me like awkwardly go sit down and like just contemplate like what the fuck is happening right now? Like what is my body doing? Yeah.
Do you have a way of getting rid of those random ones?
No, I think I'm less and less now.
just have no testosterone.
Yeah, no, it's just I just sit there and go, yeah.
That's really funny. How have we not talked about The League yet? By the way,
right?
One of the best sitcoms of all time.
That's my favorite sitcom.
Agreed. No, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's right behind Seinfeld for me.
And it would be on par with Parks and Rec for me.
Yeah. It's my tops. It's ahead of Seinfeld.
Yeah,
because it's
about sports.
It's first off they talk to each other like people, like guys actually talk to each other. It's more realistic. Whereas Seinfeld was more set up punchline.
Yes. Yeah.
This is like spot on to how I hang out with my guy friends.
Yeah.
And I love how they just shit on each other.
It is the most realistic sitcom I think I've ever seen with how it's just banter.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how much would have been scripted.
They improv a lot, is what I've heard.
Because you could. Because that is just legitimately how people talk to each other.
Just go places and enjoy each other.
I think it helps when every comedian is every actor on the show is a stand-up comedian too.
Yeah.
Right? And they're writers too, I think.
Actually,
right?
Pete's not.
Pete's not, no.
Pete's not a stand-up comedian.
But Andre was.
I'm thinking of
all the other ones are stand-up comedians. And not the female as well. She's not a stand-up comedian.
She's an actual actor though. Like they're
married. Pete and her are married.
Oh, really? In real life?
In real life.
Pete and Kevin's wife are married in real life.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
That's weird. I don't know how you would do that, actually.
Yeah.
Pete and Kevin's wife are married.
Yeah.
In real life.
What?
What's her name?
You're blowing my mind right now.
Before the show even happened.
What?
Yeah.
That would be odd.
Can I
Can I ask,
mind
like,
right
as actors, like, how did it would be?
Well,
I would find it weird to be like, hey, my wife's on set and she's kissing another dude right in front. Like, that would just be a bit odd.
We had this controversy on our stage show.
Okay.
Where we had the female character,
one of
the female characters, had to make out with one of our other co-actors, and his girlfriend kept coming to the show.
Yeah,
and it.
So
she didn't like that.
How did they deal with it? How did you guys deal with that aspect of the show? Because I mean, you guys weren't making out or anything like that, but there were some parts.
He tried to make out.
Yeah,
I won't get you.
Well, I'll get you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything in a relationship. It's communication. It is. I think a part of it is hard to. I don't want to, this is kind of sounding patronizing, but it's hard to kind of explain the difference between in front of the camera and behind the camera, right? Because if you're just used to watching shows and watching plays and watching television, you're caught up in the moment, and you're caught up in the romanticism and the storytelling, and you're in the moment. You're there. You're imagining yourself in that spot. But behind the camera, you're just working, right? You've rehearsed this scene for 7 months, and it is so just ingrained that the only thing you're thinking of is, okay, I got to hit this mark.
Yeah.
Okay, they're gonna hit. I got to be ready for this. Like you're pre-planning the job, right?
Yeah.
So it's explaining that difference, because they see romance and caring and loving and he's gonna lift her up, like they feel that watching, but behind the camera you're just kind of like, okay, well, I gotta fucking lift this
like
person
in our rehearsals, it's like, man, you taste bad, or some shit like that was happening.
Yeah, it's like, I hate kissing you because you are gross as shit.
Yeah, you're
right?
so
like,
sweaty.
That's nice.
We're gonna go to some random questions now.
Okay.
I've got one that I brought myself.
What?
Yeah, and this is actually for both of you, and it's kind of mental health related. Okay. What is the least expensive thing you own that's made the most positive impact in your quality of life?
I do like that. Let me think in my head. You know what I really do like? That I never think about it until I pick it up and I use it. And every time I use it, I'm like, I really enjoy this.
Least expensive
is my beard comb that my wife got me.
Really?
It's a little tiny plastic, but it's like
you don't have a long beard. Like,
no,
it's not long.
No, I don't. But it's a decent little quality. Little, but I think it's more ivory than plastic.
Okay.
It's a random stocking gift for like a last Christmas. But man, every time I use it, I'm like, this just feels really nice, and I really enjoy it.
That is awesome.
And it lays down beard. So
awesome.
that's my answer.
Least expensive thing I own
that has the most positive impact on your life.
You know what? That's a good question. There is. And I just got it back actually. For years, it was sitting in the bottom of a drawer. When we were dating, my wife bought me a watch. It's just a fossil, probably $100 watch. And I would like to be a watch guy at some point in my life. I'm not yet. I would like to get there one day. You know, that's one of the things. I'm not this guy or that. The watch guy I could be. Anyways, and it's nice. But I put it on the other day, and you know what? It's just like at that time I had zero money. I had zero anything. Like I was sleeping foaming on the ground when we were dating, right? Like I had nothing. I was a loser.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she married me, but she bought it for me back then, and now I can afford different types of watches if I really, really wanted to.
Different kind of ground mattresses.
Yeah, different kind of ground mattresses. And yet that one, it brought me a lot of joy that day because I'm like, you know what? This was a nice time. Again, sentimentalism and that whole thing. So
how much does this stuff cost, do you think, guys?
It's not $100. I would say that watch is probably around $100.
Yeah, it's a basic fossil watch. Yeah, $100.
Well, how much do you think your ivory comb cost?
Maybe $18.
Oh, see, that's better.
So mine is cost $25,
right.
And it's recently. I bought a toque off of the Lululemon website, and I've always shit on the toque wearers.
Yeah,
like the summer.
That's true. I've heard you shit on them. Yeah,
yeah. Like, what are you wearing a toque for, you jackass?
Got a lot going under that wool cap of yours.
So it's if you've ever bought anything Lululemon, you know that they just use the elves must make their material.
Yeah,
because all the material is amazing. So the material on this toque is so soft and so comfy. So when I put it on, I liken it to my son's addiction to having the right blanket.
Oh, okay.
So when I put this thing on, it just calms me down. I just get into a completely relaxed state. and I love it. I just my mood immediately changes when I put this toque on.
Is it a weighted toque?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, it's just a nice little wool toque that fits so nice.
You're happy, Toque.
Is
My
it
happy toque.
Is it going to turn into a summer toque for you?
Yeah. So I've been working this part-time job, and it's a shift work thing, and I put it on nights.
I get that
Kind
part.
of
Okay.
keep me
Zen's out.
Keep me zenned out. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch, beard comb,
And
Toque.
And toque. Wow,
That's all you guys need.
that's nice.
A couple really tough questions for you before you go.
Yeah, go.
Really hard ones.
Yeah. Tough.
Okay. We were softballing you this whole time.
I know you have been,
Melons.
yeah. And I appreciate that.
But now it's time to man up.
Okay.
Okay. Why aren't manhole covers square?
Oh, great question.
Why would they be square?
We aren't square. I would say I'm more round than square.
Yeah.
So if I'm going
all
down
my manholes are circles.
yeah, all my manholes are circles. That's actually great. That's a great answer.
Okay. I'm not hearing an answer, but okay. Sure. Yeah. All right.
Why would you think they should be anything other than a triangle? I mean, I'm not going to say it should
I'm
be a
not
square.
saying I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I'm just asking why aren't manhole covers square?
No, I don't know. Probably cheaper for the circle.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Well, a square you can just do 4 cuts. But
Yeah, but I
square you
could-
got to go around and make sure you get the square.
I'm still using less metal, aren't I, or whatever?
I don't know. I don't have the answer, guys. This is something.
I think the real
I told
answer
you,
is what
tough
we
questions.
said.
Great question.
All my
Tough.
manholes are
Yeah,
circles.
great question.
Okay, tough questions here, guys. You got a tough question for him?
Yeah, I do. So name something that was great that got ruined by somebody. Great for something that was great for everybody, but got ruined by somebody.
Lord of the Rings, Amazon.
That was great. That got ruined.
Yeah, something that was amazing for everybody, and then someone fucking ruined it.
Everything I'm thinking is the opposite. Something that was terrible that got great by one bad thing.
Yeah, that's exactly opposite.
Yeah. Everything coming to mind is the exact opposite. Okay, you go. I'll think of something.
I'm going to say comedy.
Okay.
Comedy.
ruined it?
I'm saying comedy in general. Like, comedy used to be no holds barred. Everyone wanted to laugh.
Yeah.
And I think, did I tell you the story about, we talked about it last week,
Yeah.
where I spent a comedy show watching our local representative.
Yes, that's right. Not being able to laugh.
Not
Yeah.
being able to laugh. And that just made me think of this question. And
I got an answer.
not being to laugh at anything anymore. And some people are offended by everything, and it pisses me off.
Good one. I got an answer that's better than both years.
Okay, go.
Because both years sucked.
Yeah, okay.
One stupid fucking turtle. I now can never use a plastic straw again.
No, that's a good point. Did
we talk about this already?
I don't want
was
to
this
talk
in our
about that. I mean,
private
I'm
life?
sure I bitch about straws all the time, but that one stupid fucking turtle,
Yeah.
I can never have plastic straws again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm gonna go right off the board of this one. The first guy that went into and watched his wife do labor. Before that, you got to stay at home smoking cigars.
Exactly, right?
And that
You're down
first
at the
guy,
pub. Hey, I'm having a kid
who's like,
today.
"Hey, sweetheart, I'm gonna come there with you." And she's like, "Oh, that's great." And then the expectation has now
Corrected
risen
for
for every
everyone.
single one of us. And we used to sit at home, drink whiskey, smoke cigars, and just wait for the phone call. And if
had
he were
a-
here today,
I had another acquaintance of ours. We'll call him Kadeen. Mm-hmm. He gave me birthing advice that got me in the most fucking trouble in the world.
shocking.
So he goes before, it was like 2 weeks before my firstborn.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you could do anything, go home that night and sleep your face off.
Oh.
Because most likely you get
Yeah, you're gonna be awake
and your
forever.
wife is going to be exhausted, so
Yeah.
you'll be not exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife didn't like that plan at all.
No.
I did it, and she was up all night that first night after she had the kid, and she was furious with me up into this day. Like, this guy ruined the first birth of my child.
That is
Because
fantastic.
I went home that first
That is
night.
fantastic.
Based on his advice, where he's like, "Yeah, you gotta go home that first night. Trust me, you want to be well rested for your
And he
wife."
giggled as you walked
Oh,
away.
Yeah,
what a-
100%.
Yeah, what a cunt. I love him, but God damn it.
Yeah. Homework for me you gave me
I gave you.
And
I want
it
you to do a couple of those best beers.
of the best beers, which I will
Do as
send
many
you.
as you
I'll
can.
send you photographic evidence.
Do as many as you can.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
I'll send you photographic evidence that I'm doing them.
Okay, we'll post the photographic evidence.
Yeah. Allister, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's great. I've been listening for so long.
Wait, really quickly. Really quickly.
Oh, we're not done. Okay.
How many times have you taken your fucking shirt off when you're playing?
Oh, I do want to know this question, actually. Yeah.
Music.
Yeah. Why?
Great question.
And also,
Yeah.
if you have, why?
Yeah. I have taken my shirt off, let me think here, 0 times.
0 times.
Oh.
Is it
And I
because you,
know
look
that's
like,
disappointing.
you look like us under that?
Are you
thing?
It's because it's a bag of milk.
Are you actually
the guitar's not big enough for me to hide behind. That point, I would need to be a stand-up bass player for the shirt to come off. That's number one. Number two, not really looked on well in church.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Generally.
Jesus!
Your homework is...
Yeah. 2.
Your homework is to take your shirt off in church while you're playing and get everyone into it.
Wow.
Get everyone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's a good question, though.
that is a great question.
Who's winning the Oilers game tonight?
Dallas.
Do you think so, hey?
I really want the Oilers to win, but
I'm telling you.
and I would love for them to do it. I don't see them winning the series, man.
So Oilers is my 4th favorite, or NHL is my 4th favorite sport.
Okay, what are the 3 before?
All the
Basketball,
good ones,
football,
yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, you're wearing 2 baseball things right now.
I am.
But you notice they do match.
They do match,
Yeah.
which is a
cognizant of
different,
that. I know you are.
different level of nerdy.
Yeah.
Like, are you a Dodger? Like, you're obviously a Dodgers
not
fan.
nerdy, fandom. That's different.
Obviously a Dodgers fan.
No, I'm not a Dodgers fan. Here's what the eyeball test did to me, because I'm not the most adept at understanding the nuances.
Yeah, you've
of the
been getting into hockey recently, though.
game.
I've heard.
Yeah, I have. They were outworking Dallas that first game a lot.
Yep.
At every facet of the game.
Sure.
And those 2 goals that Dallas got were not.
Agreed.
Those were lucky goals, to say the least.
Yeah, but Draisaitl's was a little bit as well. So you have to think about that one. Like Draisaitl,
Yeah.
that one came off a foot as well and kind of went right to him. So
Sure.
that's evened off.
Okay.
But
They were
you're right.
outworking him, though.
I would listen. I've been an Oilers fan since I was born. I grew up in that family.
Sure.
I would love to see them win, and nothing would make me happier. Dallas is a good team, man. So I don't know. I'm setting myself up for
I would argue this, though.
Very little expectations.
I would argue this, though.
Yeah.
If they didn't have that terrible start, they could have very well been ahead of the standings.
Oh, I agree.
On
Yeah.
Dallas, and then we would be saying the opposite, that the Oilers, they can't beat the Oilers.
Sure, totally. But we'll see, man. Playoffs
Yeah.
are a different animal. So
Yeah, anybody can win. 2 8 seeds have made it to the finals last couple of years.
And there's no momentum in the playoffs, right? It's a tough thing to get, so it's a big one. Tanner, you're doing great right
You're doing
now.
great, buddy.
Yeah, and
I'm proud of you.
now that we've lost all of our
Oilers-
audience,
Yeah.
The Oilers are a hockey team, and hockey is a sport.
It is a sport.
yeah, I know.
It's a Canadian
I
sport.
know what the sports are.
It's not Canadians or Canada's national sport,
no,
which
it's
is
not.
odd to me. But it's not.
Of the 4 main sports, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, what one would you play?
Hold on, that's the 4 most North American sports.
That's true. I played.
Yeah.
I played.
Yeah.
I played fairly.
NHL would be kicked out of that one, I think.
Oh, 100%. Well, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I would even say 2 would be kicked out because
Basketball's pretty international.
Baseball.
Football would probably be kicked
Football
out
would
as
be
far as
number
football's not really international.
football would be, I would say soccer and probably cricket if we're going worldwide.
Love cricket. I know it's weird. I love it.
I haven't got into it.
I watched a baseball off season.
Yep.
I was like, man, I wish I had baseball. And so I watched. YouTube John Boy. Have you ever heard of John Boy?
No.
You need to watch.
Is that India? Is that the guy?
No.
India?
He's a guy from New York, and he's a Yankees fan.
Okay.
And he started a podcast, and then now he's got a YouTube channel, and now he's super big. He's got the best sports content on YouTube by far.
John Boy. Okay.
John Boy. Jomboy.
Jom. Okay.
John Boy.
I was not going that
And
direction.
in a baseball off-season, he was bored, and he started watching cricket.
Yeah.
And so then he put up a bunch of cricket videos to explain to us in baseball terms how cricket worked. And I'm like, this game's so awesome. I love it.
It is pretty cool. It depends on which, because I watched a documentary on Netflix about cricket.
Yeah, T20. I like the T20.
Which one was it? No, it was the one about the England versus. Anyways, they play for this tiny little trophy. I can't remember what it's called right now. But like, there's the games that last 3 days.
Yeah, I
and
don't
then there's
like
the games that last like a day or an hour
the
or two.
T20s
right?
are the shorter games.
Oh, that's the T20s.
Yeah, they go up to 20 outs.
Obviously, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about in cricket, but I could see it being okay. Yeah, I'd go watch a game.
Yeah.
It seems a bit hoity-toity. A little bit.
It's
Like,
interesting.
it's a bit odd.
It's like a horse race crowd for a
that's
baseball
exactly what I'm thinking. In England, I'm sure you go to other places in the world, it wouldn't be so much like that. But anyways, that would be interesting. Cricket, I could get into.
Yeah,
We'll see.
cricket's an underrated sport. I actually really like it.
My boy played soccer for a while, and I got into watching soccer a little bit, or football, depending on where you're at.
Speaking of sports and fake sports, I have something to announce.
Oh.
At the last end. And then you guys are going to laugh at me. This is nerdy. I understand. I get it. But I'm announcing it because it's a bucket list thing, and I'm doing it.
I have booked Vegas for April 19th and April 20th. Well, that whole weekend. Really the 18th through the 21st.
April, yeah.
Okay. In Vegas. And I'm going to be going to WrestleMania for both days.
Wow.
Hey.
2-day event.
That's exciting.
At the football stadium. I'm doing it. I've wanted to do it ever since I was a kid. I'm doing it.
Do we know what the headliner was going to be for that?
Nope.
yet?
Now, since it sounds like we've lost most of our audience anyways, I watched WWF back in the day.
Yeah.
And my heyday would have been like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, different things like that.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho. I haven't seen anything that I've found entertaining recently.
The Rock coming back.
Well, okay,
and the stuff
sure.
he did was awesome.
Is it just like a rerun that you think?
No, he completely character overview. He turned himself into the final boss. He called himself. It was pretty cool, dude.
Okay,
it was awesome. He called him
right.
the final boss. Like he's like, I'm the final boss, and he kind of brought back that Attitude Era. He was like fucking
I like
swearing all
that.
the time. And
Okay.
oh yeah, they brought back blood and everything. It was crazy. Yeah, no, it was awesome. Anyway, WrestleMania.
Okay.
2024. Me and I got 3 options on the table because my wife wants to come, but she doesn't want to come.
Yeah.
We're working on it. It's Easter weekend.
Yeah.
And then so I got 2 other people that maybe want to come. So
Okay.
we'll see. Either way, I'm fucking going.
Neither of which are sitting at this table.
No.
You notice that, eh?
Yeah.
I'm just excited for the person listening. I'm just excited that Corbyn has an outlet finally, because I know he does care about it, and I'm happy that he gets the moment to talk to somebody who can talk back
Sports,
about the sports
baby.
stuff.
Sports.
So I'm happy that you finally get that outlet.
We actually didn't talk sports all that much on this podcast, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. Well, when we turn it off, you guys can keep talking.
Oh, that's nice.
Until then, Coop, where can people find you, or do you want them to find you?
I don't have any social media, so no.
What about your gigs though?
Yeah, is there a gig coming up? Can people
Nothing
come
coming
watch
up
you?
recently. But if you want to, if you want to book me, get a hold of Tanner, and he'll get my contact information for you at Radical Apathy on all your social medias.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, we'll get it off to them. I've watched them play several times. They actually are very good. I know he was downplaying it, but they are very good.
Sorry to interrupt again. What's like? You know you're going to hit that song every time. What's that song?
Good
Spoilers.
Moni Moni by it just hits. It just plays.
Okay, Moni Moni by who? I want to know who you believe wrote the song.
Well, we go the Idol.
That's the first album I ever had was Billy Idol's
Really?
Vital Idol. It was his greatest hits album.
That song plays, man, and you can throw that in anywhere. Next set, no spoiler alert for my next set. I'll probably go I Want It That Way by Backstreet Boys will probably play as well, but it's a different type of play, right? That's not to get everyone moving play.
You got some guitars in that, hey?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. And are you popping the vocals on that?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Wow, good for you. That's a good range.
Yeah,
He's a good.
Yeah.
I would say my guitarist has a better voice than I. He can hit higher notes than I can. We call him the franchise because he's just better at it.
I love that fucking nickname, the franchise.
The franchise.
For anybody.
And he is better, and it's because he is better at me at everything.
I call it, you're the franchise in our contrast.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so
you're the guy.
So shout out to C-Train.
C-Train.
Yeah.
The franchise.
Not a bass player, obviously.
Not a big,
No.
although he can, not as well. No, I'll bring my brother back.
Corbyn, where can they find us?
At Radical Apathy on YouTube. Radical Apathy Podcast, sorry, at YouTube. And on Facebook. And Apathy at Apathy Podcast on Twitter/X. But mostly Twitter.
We are a fortnightly podcast, and we are going to be coming back to you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you so much for listening and being here with us, Allister. A pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, Corbyn.
Yeah.
As always.
You keep it tight.
Does any of this really matter?
You know what? At the end of the day, guys, fuck it. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, bye. Love you.